Hey.
I wasn't biting my nails.
I like how we
Me too.
I like how we all just put random shit on in the backgrounds right before it began.
Except for
I
Marlo.
almost hit end the stream. Okay, I'm really tired, guys. So if I completely fuck this up, it's not on me. I take zero responsibility for what happens tonight. Hello, how is everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Creative Block. Phil isn't here. I don't know why. Probably because he has a social life and he actually has a girlfriend, so he's out doing things that we don't. I know. I don't know what's having a significant other. We don't know what that's like. So, he's being a normal person. I sent the link out to someone to see if they're actually going to get off their ass and join us. But in the meantime, the block is just 3 for now. For those who don't know, if you are new and you have just happened upon this show, the Creative Block is a show that happens every Thursday. We rotate between all our channels, and I have a link to the playlist for the show in the description. So go click that, follow that playlist. We talk about creative aspects or creative subjects every week, usually something about storytelling. Like we'll do stuff like we'll talk about dialogue, we'll talk about paneling in comics, or we'll talk about fucking weird shit like edging the audience, which is a very serious topic. And today we are talking about morality in storytelling.
Morality? What's that?
Yay! I don't know either.
I've never heard of that.
Right.
I'm obviously a fungineer?
I have.
So I would have no morals.
No, none of us have morals. I have been told I am a mild psychopath, so I don't understand morality either.
Only mild?
Could hypothetical for you guys? Could a psychopath write a good story? That's what I wonder.
Yes.
I don't even
Probably. Aren't they the ones? Wouldn't they be really good at emulating people though? It's like
I heard that's
emotions,
somebody said that psychopaths aren't like that.
I can't
that
fucking
psychopaths
see.
have no idea.
Isn't this the sociopath is the one that's masking everything?
That might be the one that might have heard that from you, Hyper Wizard, though. So I don't know if you're.
Yeah, I could have made that up. I'm spreading propaganda. I'm spreading my moral code through propaganda. To try and distract people from thinking I'm a sociopath.
Phil still subscribes to that old society canard that you have to celebrate once a year on your naked B-Day or whatever.
Naked B-Day? What's the naked B-Day?
Well, that's your birthday suit is you're naked. Do you guys know that?
Oh. Well, I just wear that suit every day.
Yeah.
That's what
Sleep
we all
in your
do.
birthday suit.
None of us are actually wearing pants right now. But that's every streamer. I'm not. That's because I'm wearing a dress.
Oh, that's a good
Hey!
I'm also wearing a dress.
I'm wearing like
I got
really soft fleece.
Little brown dress.
He's in his pajamas. He's in the cozy pajama bottoms.
Wait, Nar was always in his pajamas. Every time when he was doing like butt cam, he was always in his pajamas too. Yes, Nar.
Oh yeah, these are my streaming pants. I got.
That's what you should do until we could get someone else on. You should have fill in the fourth blog with the butt cam. This won't be weird at all. Okay, anyways, is this better?
It looks like I'm trying to suck my own D. Look at my.
Okay, this is getting really weird, but that is complete. I suppose that's appropriate because this is the pre-Jack show. What's this?
Oh yeah, let me hit play. This is a palette.
Oh no!
A palette cleanser already. Monkey comes back from one. Now listen. Obviously, we all know it's a huge risk to start a fight with a monkey. They could rip your face off. They could rip your balls off. But is he
little monkey? That's like a macaque. It's not a chimp.
This is what I mean. Is he picking a fight with like the pussy ass monkey? Like try that against a chimp, and you're not coming out of there in one
a chimp isn't a fucking monkey, and so clearly, I assume most people know that.
I like that in between every punch, he starts to do his little pose to flip his hair back. And he keeps getting interrupted mid hair flip. And he's like,
As someone with long hair, that is a constant struggle. Whenever you pack your bags at the supermarket, you got to lift your head up and flick your hair back. It's like it becomes a whole extra layer of bodily awareness.
I've seen Jake
tie it back.
Yeah.
So I always have my hair tied up when I leave the house. Well, I don't know how that relates to our subject today, but I suppose there's our opening video.
Well, is it moral to start a fight with a monkey?
Yeah, what's the theme of that? What's that guy's deal?
Is that assault or animal? I guess it's animal abuse, but
I endorse animal abuse. Except for
yeah, she endorses kicking dogs whilst on a bike.
yeah, totally. That's totally what I said. Except doggos. Doggos are the best. Never. Hey Vaughn, you have the link. You want to come in?
Don't do it. Don't do it, Vaughn. Don't.
No, let's annoy the fuck out of Phil. It's his fault for not being here. So Vaughn, you get the link instead of him today. All right.
Phil's like, yeah.
Vaughn is
Feels
the
like
new
I'm
Phil.
not.
He is. He's taking Phil's place. I don't know what Jake is fucking doing.
Phil is Alex LB said more hats, and they said almost there. So I've got to start layering on the hats, including the really cool mushroom. Oh fucking hell! Hold on, I got a cool mushroom one.
Oh, the hat underneath the mushroom hat is what I'm interested in.
The fez?
Yeah, that thing's pretty sweet. Just
the classic fez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never blocked out the fez before.
There's always men wearing those hats when I go to the the parade. There's always men walking down the street wearing those.
What is the social connotation of the fez? Is it a religious hat? Is it like some kind of random Jew hat?
It's like the Freemasons. They all wear those and walk down the street, and they like, I don't know, they kind of march, they twirl some shit, and they have the fez, and you're like, whoa.
There you go. I'm a 20th level Freemason with my
the red
Amazon.
one.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a Turkish hat? That's a Turkish thingy.
Yeah,
Little
it's
red
like
hats
Turkish.
Did you not know? Yeah, to be a Freemason, you have to also be Turkish.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. Yeah.
I mean, it's totally true. That's what Patrick is. That's what PTV is.
He's secretly Turkish.
Yeah, he's secretly Turkish. Oh, guys, you want to see some art? Before we start, we're never going to actually start, but hold on. I want to show you guys something. Look! So I have a campaign. Hey, guys, I have a campaign that's launching in 2 days for my comics. So go to my comic website, fiendishcomic.com, and sign up because we're launching in 2 days. But I just did some art for it. Here, I should take it out of the folder.
Oh, it looks so cool.
Boop.
I want to buy it.
I'm gonna. There's some original art. I'm gonna try to finish another. It's really small, but it'll be on the campaign. I have Michael Rushbrook, who's the interior artist. He did some art, and I'm gonna have like a couple pieces up there. So if you want this and a bunch of other cool stuff, then be at the launch Saturday, like noonish maybe, and sign up for an email list. Yay! Okay, that's all.
On Fund My Comic.
On Fund My Comic! That's all. Hello, streamers! Hello, Fear Lantern! Hi! Hello, everybody. FKA! Down Solo, hey! What's it for? It's just for the campaign. It's just going to be original art that's on the campaign. I just drew it because I wanted to.
Sale.
Yeah, I wanted to draw Teenage Kazumi and Ragnar. I thought it would be a really sweet scene.
It's a beautiful piece. As knowing the story, that's a very touching piece to put with the campaign.
You'll see. It's so hard not to spoil everything.
Alex, don't you dare buy that instead of me. I want to get that. I'm going to get there with my clicking finger ready.
It's you have to be fast. Hey, Michael Rushbrook is in the chat. What's up? Hello. What's it for? Oh, I answered that. Am I launch on my channel? Yep, I'm just gonna launch on my channel. I didn't bother to ask anybody. It's a smaller campaign. It's a 0.5 chapter, so I figured I might as well just launch on my channel. And it'll be fun. I'll start streaming at like 11ish, and I'll just drink. Probably until dinner time, and hopefully some people back my book. It'll be great. Hey, we have a guest, so I guess we should finally start with the presentation for today.
What's going on?
Are you ready? Do you need to put on like
hi Phil,
your sunglasses, your hats? Hi Phil.
How's it going, Phil?
Phil, you change your hair color.
I could change my name.
You changed your race, Phil.
I shaved the signbirds.
You're suddenly very
changed his
blonde
name to
and
blonde.
very white.
Phil, yeah. I'm Latinx like Phil.
You're Latinx.
No, the correct word is Latinian. That's the cool way of saying it.
What the fuck is Latinian?
Just call
yourself. I am.
I'm an honorary Latinian. Phil is our Latinian host.
What would Phil do?
Latinian? He's Latino and what else?
No, that's just a fun way of saying Latino.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's
or South American in general.
I don't know if you saw, but I literally
say
you
Latino.
Took long to start. I read Fiendish too.
Oh, did you?
Nice.
Are you gonna get a live review?
Yeah, I can if you
Alright.
want. I actually thought it was phenomenal. Not even kidding. Like, I thought it was phenomenal. Like, I was blown away.
you.
Like, because that's the thing is like I'm friends with you, but I would give you, say it was good, but like it
You guys
genuinely
are
was.
friends.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, just barely.
Just barely no, but I thought it was so well done. I read the first one recently, and I think the first one was good, but it was more of like an inciting incident. This one was such a. If the first one got you in the door, this one blew it like wide open. I thought it was so phenomenal.
Yay! Okay.
I thought the characterizations were really solid. The opening scene's fucking heartbreaking. It's so good.
Don't say any spoilers, but
I'm
what
not.
did you think? What did you think of the last line in the book? Don't hint towards anything.
Well,
What did you think
all
of-
right. So it sounds like a Jake line. First of all,
It
Ah!
actually wasn't.
Yeah,
I
that
came
was
up
her.
with it
That was
all
her
on
trying
my
to
own
write
damn
it.
self.
She was
That
trying to
was
write
me
a Jake
trying to
line.
Yeah,
be
but I could
funny.
tell- but I could
I
tell
was like,
there
let
was
me
some
pull
Jake
out
in
the
that.
one joke per book that I have out of my womanness. My
It was
unfunny
good.
ass.
Okay.
yeah.
That's hilarious. It's a Jake line. That's
I'm
so
definitely-
funny.
Listen,
that,
I've read
I
your
guess
stuff
that's
too,
a compliment.
Jake.
That means it's funny. It wasn't that jakey. It wasn't
No,
like
it wasn't. It
Blue
well,
Jake, haha.
She's definitely taking it as an insult.
yeah.
She's definitely taking that personally.
I didn't
Jake
get to
is
finish
funny,
this.
but it wasn't okay. Anyways,
I was on the rune casting part. I didn't get to
Yeah.
finish it, but
Put a
yeah,
lot of thought
it was
into
good.
this.
I remember watching you live drawing the. We were talking about it at Tampa too. I am a little disappointed you taking out the jerking off on the tits motion on that one panel. That
Yes.
was but it was honestly really cool seeing like certain things, and I'm like, oh, I remember that when you were streaming that. I remember also Cecil's cameo was pretty good.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
I didn't realize it was so early. Did you like wait to draw that page?
No, that page was one of the last that I drew. I don't draw pages in order.
Oh, you don't? Okay, I'm debating how I want to go about mine.
Oh, psychopath! Draw every comic page in order. Can you imagine?
I used to do that, but no, you
Is
don't.
that not
there's
how it works?
no, I used to do that, but especially for crowdfunding, it's I need to get the pages that will look I need for the trailer, and I want to put on the campaign done first, and then all these other concerns. And it's sort of the way I do it now is I spread them out so that I have the complex pages balanced with the simple pages, and I kind of start with these are the ones I need to use for advertising, and then these are the complex ones, and I usually leave the simple ones for last.
I
And
did make a
I
list
draw them
of
all in
like
order.
I made a list of like a couple of pages that I want for the trailer, so I might do those first. But I'm probably gonna have most of my book done by the time I launch.
That's good. That's my plan for 3, anyways. I'm gonna get a lot of it done by the time I don't know about colored, but inked at least.
But I have like my trailer script kind of written, using some lines in the opening.
So morality, the topic of today.
Oh, thank you, Jake. We're here to actually talk about a fucking subject and have a show that I made an entire fucking presentation for. You see, I was trying to let everybody just chit chat for a bit, but
No, you just want us to talk about your book.
Shut up! Shut up!
I just wanted to interrupt Vaughn while he was talking about his project.
You can talk about mine, but you can't talk about yours.
Okay.
Anyways, I don't want to keep everyone waiting for too long. I legit made a really nice presentation.
Legit
so
made?
But I am
90
tired.
PowerPoint. Let's
I
go.
have been. It's way better than 90s PowerPoint.
Did you
It's
use
fucking
Ali's
beautiful.
software? Did you use the software where it's a freaking video?
I just want to know what font did you use
God.
and what background
It's
color?
gorgeous. It's
She's stepping it
beautiful.
up.
It's
This is gonna be
amazing.
painful.
I will put you all to fucking shame.
Is it
but
red
This is
on
gonna be-
I
gray?
might bungle the presentation because I'm really tired. I've been running on 4 hours of sleep, but let's
She's
go.
gonna increase expectations to so high that this show will not survive.
Do it.
Yes.
I dare you. Make my
Kill
day.
it.
Da, 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 da.
My
Look at
fucking
this.
ears.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Did you even
look-
sculpt? Did you even sculpt those sculptures ready
I
to put on the
did.
front?
Yeah,
I
she
sculpted
did.
Wow.
those sculptures. I forged those metal pins from scratch from the earth itself. I
Oh, you're
built all of
you're
this.
so talented.
I'm so talented. Oh my gosh. So, the subject for today is morality in storytelling. And the way I approached this was there's a bunch of different ways to approach it. But first of all, at least for the way I was thinking of it, was we're talking about moral message. What is a moral message in a story? And what are some examples of that? And also, mostly, I spend most of this presentation will answer like, what is it? And also how to do it right and how to do it wrong. So those are the basics. And if anybody wants to extrapolate on that and talk more about their thoughts on morality and storytelling, of course, we can do that later on. So I wanted to start us out with theme versus moral, which I think a lot of people get confused on. And up until I had to actively think about it, I was also kind of confused on it. And one of theme and moral is one of those things, just like motif, where it's something that permeates the story that repeats over and over again. So sometimes it's hard to pin down what exactly is what, but a motif is more of a reoccurring visual aspect or a reoccurring occurrence that isn't necessarily a theme. Like a theme is an idea that's reoccurring. A motif is more, could be like a visual or like a surface level repeating element that reflects theme. And what I came up with here, at least the way I'm thinking about it, is themes are neutral concepts that a story is about, usually universal concerns that everyone can relate to. For example, something simple like love, hate, regret, guilt, or friendship. And the moral message is extrapolated from theme, just like how a motif is a reflection, like a surface level reflection of theme. A moral message is a lesson or the conclusions or arguments that the story derives from the themes. So, for example, if the story is about love, you can extrapolate love heals all. And if a story is about regret, you can extrapolate regret is antithetical to progress, and so on and so forth. Or if a story is about vengeance, that would be the theme, but what is the actual moral message? It could be either vengeance is good or vengeance is bad because blah, 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 extrapolate.
Yeah, like, so I would look at this slightly differently, but we can, obviously I would go ahead with the presentation. Like, I think the theme is like the question and the moral message is the answer. So it's like, how do you live life well? And then the moral would be, this is how we propose the answer to that question is what the truth is. Okay.
Well, isn't it funny that I showed you my notes, so you totally read what I wrote?
I didn't read this. What?
I screenshotted my notes into group chat. You totally read my notes.
I've been a clever clogs person reading books lately, and what I just said was totally from books I was reading and not from reading your note. What? I really didn't think that was in your notes. Hold on.
I recall you said you read 30 pages of a book. I wouldn't call that you're reading lots of books recently.
Listen, I'm trying hard. It took me 3 days to get through 30 pages. It's 10 pages a day. But
well, anyways, congratulations. I'm very happy that you're reading books.
You didn't have this exact wording in your notes. You lying.
Yes, I did, but it's okay, Jay. I forgive you. So, to simplify, look at this pretty PDF. Isn't this nice? This is such a good presentation. I'm so proud of myself. Theme is
Allie is spinning in her grave.
In question. Well, she's not dead, so don't say that. Theme is the subject in question, and the moral message is the answer. Establish theme first, then extrapolate morality. That's how I would boil it down, at least in the way that I'm approaching it. And I think that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, it was great. I totally thought of that independently.
I forgive you, Jake.
Why is your mouse a blue circle or teal?
Oh, it's just
some special.
It's a presentation thing. Yeah, it's a presentation program thing, Jake.
It's crazy.
She's like, Google Slides, F that. I'm going to use Presenter EX or whatever.
The top secret, awesome, beautiful program I'm using is way better. Okay, so next part. What is the necessity of having a moral message? Does a story need a moral message? And I personally think it doesn't, because on the surface, I think the way they teach you to write story is at least in the way that they teach you, like the standard way to write a story, besides from just, well, act 1, act 2, act 3, and all that stuff, is create a conflict. That's sort of the basics, especially for comics. But I realize there are a lot of stories that don't follow that model. Remember when we were talking about stories that are based on twists instead of conflict? And I actually don't know if that's just Eastern thing versus Western thing. I think it's more predominant in the East to have stories that revolve around twists, and in the West it's more predominant to have stories that revolve around conflict, but it's not an exclusive thing. And maybe I'm wrong, but sort of the way I broke it down is I think that because conflict necessitates characters making decisions in reaction to the theme, moral messages are usually stronger in stories that revolve around conflict and weaker around stories that revolve around twists. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in those stories. I have some examples later that I will see. I'm getting ahead of myself.
In those twist stories, does a character still have a revelation though?
Twist. Oh, sorry.
Because a revelation that a character has is the discovery of a truth, which is fundamental to that universe. And a universe, if you present it as having a truth that a character realizes through an epiphany or revelation, that is essentially the story's moral message, even though it's not like, stop being racist, whack, like whacking you over the head. It's still, do you vibe with that or not?
I think that could be true, but it depends on what the revelation is. Because I think for a revelation to be a moral message, it has to be a revelation about a behavior-based conclusion. You see what I mean?
I'm sorry, because I'll get back. I didn't want to have the discussion on the other stuff because I figured we'd get to it later, like the theme versus moral lesson. But with this, I'm just trying to understand how is a story based around a twist not a story based around a conflict. I'm trying to think because every story I have that has a twist always has a conflict.
Camel Moon in the chat says sometimes the revelation is the twist. Like it's the truth becomes revealed.
I would say it's not a either or thing, but sort of okay. We're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but
it's okay.
I can okay. I might as well just give some examples that I have later. So I was thinking of some works like Journey to the West was the main one, but a bunch of other ones and also Mushishi, which I really like, but Mushishi isn't really based around conflict, but it's very compelling, and every episode is based around a twist. It's like we're just discovering what these I noticed more procedural stories that are we're talking on Narwhal's channel about warm stories versus cold stories. And I think the more procedural cold stories tend to not be so much. They don't tend to have so much.
Cold one. Get with the flow. It's not. Get with the law. Get with the law.
Yes, warm versus cold. This is a Narwhal. We're speaking Narwhalese now. So they tend to not focus so much on the morality. For example, what is the moral message of Sherlock Holmes? There really isn't. There's the intellectual message of once you eliminate what's probable, all that stuff. It's philosophy.
There's a philosophy by which to live a life, which is like a value system, which is a moral message.
Right, but it's not as overt. See, it's not that there
not overt doesn't mean it's not there.
No, I'm not saying it's not there. I'm saying that it's not as strong. So there's a whole. Okay, I should just jump ahead to my other slides.
Yeah, I think if you're getting there, let's let her get there, and then we'll go.
Okay. Hold on. Let me just go through the slides. Okay. All right. Okay. Does the story need a moral message? I think that it might depend on how you define moral message. I think some things like more procedural stories or more stories based, for example, Sherlock Holmes, and stories that are based around twists like Mushishi, they don't have a moral message in the same way that Lord of the Rings has a moral message where power corrupts and even the smallest person can change the world. Those are very strong, super fucking obvious moral messages in Lord of the Rings and some other stories that are obviously speaking on morality. And this is how you should act. This is a truth that I'm trying to prove about, the author is trying to prove about the world or about human existence through the story. But works like the other ones I gave examples for, like Sherlock Holmes or Mushishi and a bunch of other ones, they don't necessarily have as strong of a moral message in that sense. They do have a philosophical message. So Sherlock Holmes has a general message. It's not really about morality. I guess you could say it is, but I don't really think it is. It's more about you view
How do you
life a
define
certain way.
morality?
I mean, even if you have a character suffering in any way, the piece of media would implicitly have a moral message.
Okay, I'm
where
just gonna go ahead.
it's okay. I get it. I get what you're saying for this presentation. It's fine. Like, I just wanted to articulate that.
Okay,
but-
okay. I'm just gonna
for
go
the-
ahead. I'm gonna just jump ahead. So okay, I split the examples that I came up with a bunch of examples, and I split them by high moral core, conflict base, and low moral core, twist base. So hold on.
Cool.
Okay, hold on. Just
That's
let me finish this. Okay, so a moral persuasion will naturally, not necessarily. If a story is based around conflict, as opposed to stories based around twists, a moral perspective will naturally arise since characters' decisions that the story presents as approving or disapproving of will frame the moral of a story. So the way I'm thinking of it here is that a moral message is stronger in conflict-based stories by necessity of the characters making active decisions in reaction to an active threat and actually being active against an outside force. This doesn't need to be overt or preachy or even obvious on the surface, and stories can have a gradient of moral strength or a gradient in the strength of its moral message. And then we will get to here. I'm kind of making a nice little graphic. See, let's just slow down and enjoy this nice PDF that I made, okay? Because it's really nice and I spent a lot of time on it. So,
It's a PDF. You're giving your game away.
Actually, it's not. I mean, I can export it as a
No,
PDF.
well, I know the software that she's using because Ali said it on the last Ali and Rini show, so I can I can tell you. I'll give you the secret intel. I know
it's not like a giant, well-kept secret, but anyways, it is
tricks
very
of the
nice.
trade,
I'm
trade
meeting Kid
secrets.
next week.
Yeah, so we
Yeah,
got to
I'm
step
gonna
up our PDF game, you guys.
I'm gonna scroll all of it on fucking paper with lipstick and hold it up to the camera on my episode.
Yeah, so, you know that on that previous side, real quick, it made me think. I like the explanation that it's like within the framing in the world of the story. If you can feel the judgment sometimes. So if it's a story about someone doing drugs, if the story is framing it like that's a bad thing to do, and here's why. Obviously, that's like a moral statement. But you could have a story where that doesn't happen. You can have a story where doing drugs is just fine. And that's kind of the freedom is really
hippies. Fucking hippies would write that.
JW says moral is a bit of a loaded term. Well, I think the way I guess I could have also put this in the way I would personally saying a moral of a story, whether something is a moral message or a philosophical message, is definitely a bit murky. So a lot of things could certainly go either way. And the way so we'll get to that. So this is basically a little infographic summarizing how I'm thinking of high moral core and low moral core stories.
It's like subtle and overt.
Right. Whether it's subtly moral or it's overtly moral, that's the difference. That doesn't mean there is no moral core. It's just like whether a story is based more around twists or based more around conflict. It doesn't mean that a story that's based around conflicts doesn't have twists. And doesn't mean a story that's based around twists doesn't have conflict. It's not either or, it's a gradient. So we're going to look at this gradient and some examples that I listed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. I'll ask later.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
shut up, Con. This is not a discussion-based show. This is a sitting and listening show.
That's fine.
No, I want a discussion because I want to.
No, let's let her get to her point. Yeah.
Let me finish this section because I have this.
You do have a super chat, by the way. You have holy shit, $200. You have two.
That's
200
arses.
It's
What the fuck is an
Argentinian.
Rs?
It's Argentinian pesos. So Nico for 200 arses. Thank you for the arses. I don't know about the moral thing. What's the moral of the Iliad, or how about Macbeth?
Macbeth definitely has a moral.
Macbeth does have a moral.
In every genre, there is a base philosophy or way of looking at life
More
that
like
it is
a based
exploring
philosophy.
within it. You can't. It's not overt. It's not like, you got to be a good person. You got to do this. Like, but there is a base philosophy and moral code exhibited in like every story. It's kind of the point of telling stories is telling people how to live. Like it's someone goes through an experience and it shows an example of how they would react in a situation. Like that is a code of morals.
Yep,
or even just
exactly.
how someone reacts or interprets a story or an event is indicative of their morals, I would say.
But saying
Mhm.
it's all on a spectrum is a good way of putting it, because sometimes it's like way overt, and sometimes it like almost gets horseshoe affected, where it becomes retarded and no longer actually seems like it has a moral, because what the moral they're trying to portray is nonsense.
You
Well,
know what
like-
the Iliad could be? It's like, is it the lady's fault or the simp's fault? That's the like question. Then the answer.
The lifelong question: is it is the simp really in the wrong, or is it the
the chicken or the egg?
Yeah,
simp or
some
the
stories
egg,
you have
the
to
egg
think
producer.
about it. Some
The
stories you have to
simple-
think about it, but I think I don't know about the Iliad. I'll have to like think more about that because I'm not that familiar with it.
Yeah, I'm
but
not either.
I think
I should
almost any
I
story
totally am.
that has a cohesive narrative and has characters reacting to a cohesive narrative, there is, because of the way whether the story has to frame the character's actions as this is the right way of dealing with things or this was a mistake, and just by the nature of that and the overarching presentation of the story, there is almost every story, I think there is a moral message. It just depends on how strong it is. And the examples I gave, I kind of start with high moral core, and usually, not always, usually those are conflict based, to low moral core, which is more twist based or more procedural. And in those examples, I personally think, for example, in Sherlock Holmes, you'll see here are some examples of stories that I think have low moral core, where it's not overtly this is a very moralistic story telling you this is the right way to behave, or it's like an essay, you're proving a point of this is how humans should live their lives. All of these stories are more kind of laid back in that way. They're trying to just almost dealing with the situation, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean there isn't a message that you can extrapolate. And for Sherlock Holmes, I put that quote, when you eliminate all which is impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. That's one message you can take from Sherlock Holmes, and that's why it's such a famous quote. And you could take that as a moral message, or you can take that as a more philosophical message. So I almost think that the message in a story could be, when it's a more warm story, it could be interpreted, that's usually a moral message, and when it's a more cold story, it becomes a philosophical message, and there's a gradient there. If that makes sense.
That tracks across how I think about movies with like Kubrick. Kubrick's cold and philosophical, and then Spielberg is like warm.
Mm-hmm. So there is a message in a way, but just it's a little like ambiguous to talk about
like
moral, whether it's moral or not. I'm just gonna all say it is.
Would you describe a detective story as a cold, logical story, because they end up having a high moral code represented within them, and that can be a procedural? Do you understand what I'm saying? Would you consider detective stories to be cold, Noel?
Oh, I think so in general.
And they're always trying to very strongly pursue like a strong moral code in them, just to throw a wrench into that whole. Sorry.
Maybe. Well, I was just thinking whenever you say Columbo, or whenever you say detective, I think Columbo now, and those are oddly, he brings some warmth to it. They fit it in little moments, but the actual crime solving is maybe a little more cold.
Yeah, I suppose if we said something like Ocean's 11 was cold because it was like a procedural heist thing that didn't really have much of a moral to it, like they were robbing a casino.
Only steal from the bad guys, you could maybe say, but it's not that strong. Yeah,
that's a great example. It doesn't really, or it has a very low message, if at all.
Yeah, it's not judging them for doing that is one thing either.
Yeah, that's the presentation of the story, how it's judging the characters. Actually, I guess I should frame this as the message instead of moral message, but whatever. It's kind of the same thing.
Warm, the way that you put it, is an emotional, would be a representation of someone suffering, and seeing a character suffering would be basically trying to show the consequences of violating the moral code. So it does kind of track in that with that through line, that when when you have emotion shown, it's like the reward or consequence of violating or upholding the moral code. So that that kind of does track with the woman cold.
Mhm.
Michael Dietrich in the chat says the moral of every slasher film: fornicating teenagers get the death they deserve. Well, that's the thing. I've been reading about horror. I'm thinking of doing my next show on horror.
Ooh, that's good.
It's like the base. One of the base morals of the horror genre is sexual deviancy. It's like the sins of the past always come back to haunt you, and it can you have full life consequences of death. And one of the very often explored sins of the past thing is like sexual deviancy, like the ghost of the main character is like.
Or
I think that's usually
think about slasher films. 1 second. You have to think about moral message or even philosophical message as not just what's on the surface, but okay, maybe it's a commentary on sexual deviancy, but you can also look at how it ends. Does a character survive? And who is the one that survives? Why did they survive? Then you can extrapolate that, even though it seems on the surface it's just a bloody slasher film, what it's really saying is the smart character is the one that'll survive, or the one that didn't give in to fear is the one that'll survive, or the least sluttiest character is the one that survives.
Yeah,
so
there
that's
needs to be
the
some
moral
morals.
message.
I wrote a slasher too, and it's like I think people really like. I think it's a good meme, like the whole if you have sex you die, but it's usually not that simple. And the ones that are generally the more surface level. I think to say like, for example, like, all right, so I think. For example, when I wrote a slasher, generally there was like the whole thing where it's like they have to overcome something other than the physical threat. But like you look at, for example, I'm pretty sure doesn't Alice in Friday 13th might not be a good example actually because it's kind of a dumb movie.
I'm not saying nothing about horror because I'm doing my show on horror.
Okay, well with slashers, it's like Nancy. The reason she survives in Nightmare on Elm Street, right, is she's smarter and she's able to overcome trauma. And even though she has a boyfriend too, who's Johnny Depp, so she's having sex too. She's not as degenerate, and that's probably why she lives. But I think usually there are some morals in there.
Yeah, there you go. It's not, you have to look kind of a little deeper. So for example, some of these examples, it took a little thinking because Dr. Metalhead asked, is the moral message even intentional? I don't think it has to be. I think a lot of the times it happens naturally and it's not intentional on the part of the author.
Yeah.
It's a reflection of the author's own views, and I think that's
you can't
the
make
best
a story
way
without projecting your
that
own.
right. I think that's the best way of presenting a message in your story, because sometimes if you do it intentionally, I mean, you can think about it as in when you're writing, you start thinking about what am I trying to say here, but if you try to force an ideal, it almost becomes propaganda. That's something that we'll also get to in a minute. I have some slides on
I
that.
think, for example, it was easy for me to write like superhero stuff because I genuinely am an idealist. And so it's easy for me to write that because it's just authentic to my belief system. Or like certain things, if I'm in an angrier mood and I want to write a revenge story, right? That'll generally, it can reflect my values. But yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I think the values tend to go through, as well as your interest in the things you like. Like it's clear you like this nerd D&D kind of shit, you know? Like when you write this, you know what I mean? Like, so it's authentic. I think it definitely, a lot of it comes through and you don't need to necessarily ham fist things in.
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff is, it's not quite like plot. A lot of messaging in a story is a reflection of the writer and what they're, it's a way of the writer speaking on their opinions without it being preachy. If it's done well, and if they're actually a good storyteller, because they are entertaining the audience. And again, we will get to that at the end. What is the difference between a story with a strong moral message and a straight up preaching and propaganda? But in the meantime, I have some examples and I'd like to run through them. So again, I kind of gradiated it from stories that have a high moral core or down to stories with a low moral core, or if you want to think about it as stories with a very moralistic message to stories with a more colder philosophical message. And of course,
I'm totally argue you on Matrix being the lowest, because Matrix is incredibly high. All the sci-fi is basically make better decisions now in order to prevent this from happening. Like
I'm not saying the Matrix
You're writing
is low.
like the present.
I'm not saying this is low, as in the next slide is like.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize.
This isn't in order of which one I think is the most moral. So I agree that The Matrix has a very strong moral message, and most science fiction does have very strong moral messages. So Lord of the Rings, I covered that. Princess Mononoke, I think it's hatred and greed only destroy the self. There are some other ones as well, like nature versus industrialization.
What happens in Princess Mononoke? Because I never watched it.
Well, you should watch it and
That's
not
a
make
good
me
one.
explain it to you,
Okay.
Based.
because it's a really
What?
good movie. Vinland Saga is also a little complicated. There's some like vengeance stuff in there, but violence should never have to be the answer, which is interesting because basically, and I've said it before, I completely disagree with the moral message of Vinland Saga, but it's done so well. It's like an essay that's proven so well. I appreciate it, even though I disagree with it. And that's how you do a story that has a strong moral message without being propagandistic.
There's stories with messages I just don't agree with at all. That like I don't agree with their conclusions, but I can appreciate the craft. It's the same. It happens all the time.
I mean, any like violence isn't the answer is basically like an extrapolation of the Christian myth of like love will win. Like, look, you know what I mean? Like it's an inverse of the Roman culture at the time of like the strongest wins.
I think also there's a great issue of New Teen Titans that like totally goes against why pacifism, or no, not pacifism. Yeah, like why complete pacifism is like bad. And it's like, no, sometimes you have to fight. But that one has felt organic too, because it's the characters having a conversation. And so maybe the writer, I could even find, even if I found out the writer was like, no, I was saying it was good, I'd be like, yeah, well, I disagree with you on your own writing. You still wrote a good story. You know?
Yeah, Gates said, did someone say Vinland Saga?
Yeah, wait, who said that?
It's totally Vineland. I mean, what? Nobody ever said that. There was a point.
Did you say that?
I'm gonna fill in whatever.
It's probably Phil Diaz should say.
In a different stream.
He's not here to defend
himself. Actually, I did
referred to vineyards as vineyards, where wine is grown.
Listen. English is technically not my first language. Okay, shut up.
Most Americans can't speak English either, though.
Exactly. I speak English better than most Americans, so shut up.
No.
You speak it better than me.
Oh my gosh. But yeah.
By the way, Bobby gave a super chat. I think you should I don't know. I forget what it says. I don't know what it says. It probably isn't even anything that bad.
It's hard. I'll come back to it, Vaughn. Okay, fine. I'll read it now that you called me out on it. Bobby Christophus for $1.99. Thank you so much for the super chat. No great background or spelling errors. 210 at best. Well, I guess I'll have to take it if that's your honest opinion. But thank you for $2.
I do like
the red text on great backgrounds next time.
The coolest thing about this presentation, and we're talking about like, does the moral message have to be intentional or can it be implicit? There is an implicit moral message within this presentation itself via the aesthetic of using like Greek era Stoic style sculptures and stuff. Like you've got an implicit moral message. She's like, that was going to be my last slide.
Oh, it's pretentious, is it? The reveal of what?
That was going to be your last slide.
And guys, the reveal is going to be panning down and it's
yes, totally. Yeah,
you're representing
I've
the
seen it in
pinnacle of morality
big, honestly,
with this aesthetic.
Well, honestly, I just like how it looked, and those images are readily available with the template. But anyways, moving on. To Kill a Mockingbird, the moral message is: a nation cannot call itself just while upholding a tiered judicial system. Pretty obvious. The Giver. I really like The Giver. I really like it. I've heard people. I mean, I might not like it as much if I read it now. I still think it's good though. It is definitely science fiction for a younger audience, but I remember it just blew my fucking mind when I read it. And I would say it's the message there is pain and pleasure come hand in hand, and shunning either is to be less human. Or, in other words, a life worth living is a life that knows both pain and joy. And I just absolutely love that story.
That sounds good. I know I need to read.
You can't live without either of those. Like you need pain to learn. You only learn through pain, and it's like you need the opposite of that so that you're not feeling pain all the time.
Yeah, Bobby Christophus' Giver Success. I don't know why people say that. I really liked it. The Giver's mind-blowing 5th grade. Yeah, it was totally mind-blowing when you're like 5th or 6th or 7th grader, and I really liked it at the time.
The giver
Oh,
would
now
be
you're
the
more
one sucking the
intellectual now,
ass.
Alex. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
The giver would be the one sucking the ass. The one
Alex-
being sucked would be the taker.
Alex talking about how he's more mature. Meanwhile, he also said it must be cold. Those nips could cut diamonds. Come on, man.
Oh my gosh.
We
And the
never mature.
Matrix. We never did. The Matrix, dangerous freedom trumps comfortable servitude, on top of other messages, of course. And here is, in no particular order, I just sorted a bunch of stories that I thought had a low moral core. Generally, they were more twist-based, but again, it's not, by definition, they're all twist-based. Clearly, some of these are. It depends, and these lean more philosophical. Lock and Key is kind of right in the middle, and I really like Lock and Key. All of these stories are ones that I really like, by the way. And Lock and Key is both very... The plot is very compelling because it's a mystery reveal, and the character development is really good, but at the same time, it doesn't really have a very overt moral message. And I would say once you finish reading it, what I took away was the message was we heal trauma by standing by each other or sticking together. And that was like the main thing that I could take away, because the entire story was kicked off by the death of a family member. But it's one of those stories that was really carried just by the characters interacting and dealing with each other all the way to the end while revealing a mystery. Walking Dead, humans at their worst are the real monsters. Sherlock Holmes, we covered that. Mushishi, balance and harmony with nature brings fulfillment.
Well, I mean, Walking Dead is when all of the structure of society is stripped away. How would people really behave if we didn't have everyone checking themselves? You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the setup. What is the moral message, or what is the philosophical message, right?
In anything episodic, I would say each individual story represented in that series would have a strong moral, like a moral message.
It's like maybe we were the
Story,
zombies
but-
the whole time.
Yeah. I'm a zombie.
Yeah.
right now.
Well, I think
With like I was thinking, if you're telling a story and you're trying to be objective, this is from a Pauline Kael quote that she's a famous film critic, but I couldn't find the quote. But it was something about she was praising someone for just being so objective that it was like insane. But I think she kind of pointed out too, like the more objective you get, the less moral code you get, because you're kind of like stepping away from that kind of thing of like an artist's hand or whatever. You're trying to just show exactly what the real world is like. But then, like, paradoxically, we were talking about Lonesome Dove a few weeks ago, so that one is super objective. There's almost no plot other than just like what happens. It's very objective, but then as a result, that one, the emotions hit even harder. So it can mean that you have super intense emotions and it's a very warm story, but it could also mean that you have like the coldest of the cold kind of too, where if you're just an objective viewer of the situation. But I don't know.
No, the moral part of the moral of Walking Dead too is like it's proving the moral need for like the superstructure of society, like police, prisons, like, you know, the those systems. It's like saying you need this, otherwise this is what you serfs would do. You plebeians would all kill yourselves if it wasn't for us as your overlord.
Therefore, even though every episode or every arc might have a strong moral message, the overarching story, the message is humans at their worst, without societal structure, which is part of being at their worst, are the real monsters. I would say that is the message of The Walking Dead. You have to look at the whole thing and break it down.
The comic. I would always look up spoilers, but never read it, and then I got pissed off in season 8.
The comic was really good up until they left the prison, and then it's just no
Dude,
point.
they
in
killed
reading.
off my favorite. I actually recorded my reaction to them killing Glenn. I don't know why I revealed that.
You did a
Because
leave
you're
Sonic
gay, man.
alone. Were you 12?
Yeah.
when you made it?
No, I was really upset though when they killed off Glenn. But anyway, that's a different.
That
Because
is
you're
Why
emotionally
did you
unstable.
read it in a different order? By
that you
the
were
way,
traumatized. I didn't read past the prison part either in the comics. So I don't know.
Yeah, as soon as they got to like the Stepford Wife Weird Village thing, I was like, this is just absolute trash. Never read
I got
anything
bored with the
past
TV
that.
show after a while, but from what I've seen, what I gathered, I think I'm pretty accurate.
Coral!
That was
Yeah.
good
Did you
Uh,
did you read Noel? Did you read much of Walking Dead?
Breach much?
No, I watched a few episodes of the show is all.
Oh man, you'd fucking love the comics.
No,
Oh,
fuck you,
man.
dude. Wow, because he's Asian. Breen, are you gonna take that?
What?
Because Glenn was the Asian guy.
Dr. Metal Blood didn't say that. That's entirely you, Vaughn.
I
don't
know.
where the
I was
fuck
trying
that
to
came
start.
from.
I was trying to.
Kick
You were
Vaughn.
trying to start a race war on my channel? Hey, Satan.
Trying to get mad on Reedy's behalf.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
That's-
white
listen, I
knighting
learned-
for all
I learned
Asians.
from
There's
yeah, I
fucking
learned.
drama
That's
here.
what I learned at college. You know, I
Oh.
gotta defend
Yeah.
my Asian
Oh,
allies.
right. Yeah.
That's how you,
You learn to take offense at the drop of a hat based off
Yeah.
nothing in college. It probably was the people
Yeah.
you went to college with, though.
Mhm.
yeah, all Asians are like one singular entity, Vaughn. They
Yeah,
share
they
minds,
blob
like a
together.
hive-mind entity.
They go.
God damn. Stop
do.
Asian hate. That's right. Hashtag stop Asian hate.
Yeah, I'm fighting back.
Oh my god. Journey to the West, friendship wins today, Nakama noises. I really don't know what fucking moral there is to like Journey to the West. I tried
Oh,
to
it's not worth.
look at I mean, I think that generally is what it is. It's like, oh, if we stick together. I mean, so a lot of older stories like Journey to the West and the Epic of Gilgamesh are like Journey to the West at least has a cohesive fucking narrative. Shit like Gilgamesh doesn't even have like a cohesive narrative. At least, okay, the Epic of Gilgamesh does. But if you look at the entire collection of Gilgamesh stories, it's just like there's like it sounds like people making fanfic about a really popular king from a long time ago. So there isn't a cohesive fucking narrative. You know what I mean?
I've not actually watched Journey to the West, but does anyone obtain immortality at the end or not? Does like anyone get any level of that going on?
Shit, I don't remember. They probably do because it's a Chinese story. So
the moral of that there's like a potential philosophical through line for myth stories, which is in like finding yourself, you would attain immortality. But I haven't watched Journey to the West, but I know it was like a myth genre.
but that's just Buddhism though.
Yeah, wow, no morals in Buddhism. Definitely not a moral code, aka a religion. That's all
Technically-
religions. That's all religion.
No, technically Buddhism is weird. It's like, okay, life is suffering, so your goal is to not care about anything and just let go and give in to the void. That's
Christianity
Buddhism
is
is really weird, okay?
Christianity is obtaining immortality through like a moral code.
Buddhism says that reincarnation and that technical immortality you have through reincarnation actually is shit, and you want to not have that.
Oh, you don't want to have that?
Yeah.
No, you want the
Buddhism
good
is like
version.
The
Do you-
opposite.
So what's the
If you
good
behave,
ending?
if you behave better, do you get better reincarnation?
You do, but
Well,
eventually
there you go. It's not
No,
the opposite.
the goal is to escape the
Okay.
coil or the reincarnation cycle and just become like at peace with the universe and not care about anything. So
Do you not
be
go to another plane?
you have to just not give a fuck. Well, you can reincarnate in another plane as well.
But is
Buddhism-
the
Buddhist
the
moral
end
is
point
believe in different
is the
planes.
end point in Buddhism really to just die and be dead, or is it to reincarnate in
It's to
on
become a
another
Buddha.
level?
It's to become an enlightened being that achieves nirvana and is at one with the universe.
Mhm.
Do they go somewhere else to be one with it?
Well, you're part of the universe.
Okay.
You become so enlightened, you're just like all you're just part of like existence itself.
So you do exist still.
Yeah, more or less. It's hard to explain. Like, I'm not going to explain Buddhist lore here, and also I'm not
Describe
that into it. so I
all
don't
of
really know.
Buddhism.
Oh my fucking
Just
god!
in one
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be a different topic. Buddhism in
Yeah,
creative block. Buddhism.
Sure.
That'll be my topic next week.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes!
Narwhal's expertise. Yeah, Narwhal, you should do some shit like Irene, but something he
No.
probably knows nothing about.
No, well, you would just
Pick all the topics she wants.
make up what Buddhism is. Do your next stream on Buddhism and make up an entire different thing that isn't Buddhism,
Oh my
and you
God.
say
And
this
then
is
every
Buddhism,
time
right?
Reedy starts to like correct you where you're clearly wrong, just like mute.
No. Yeah. You just sound like you're the one who knows, and she's an idiot every time
Yeah.
she tries to
You know,
correct you.
would
In-
fucking flip a table.
When I
I
was
know that'd be so funny though.
when I
Fucking
was
assholes.
22 and 23, I lived behind a Buddhist cult in Austin, Texas, and it was kind of crazy. It was a white
Cool.
guy. They worshipped because the
Oh,
Dalai
not
Lama.
white people. They're the
there-
worst.
There's like
Let the man
there's
speak.
like other lamas besides the Dalai Lama. There's like 2 or 3 other really big ones.
Other llamas.
Yeah, and one of them died. One of the ones besides the Dalai Lama died, and then it split in like 1990. There were 2 dudes that they said were the reincarnation, 2 kids. So half of the people follow one guy, half of them follow the other.
Is this
So
the
that
Joseph Smith of Buddhism? Is this the Mormonism version
is.
of Buddhism?
It's the Mormon version of Buddhism that was
Oh my
laid
God.
behind them. And
That's
it was
amazing.
this old German guy, because one of the things they wanted to do, I think, is open it up to white people more and more. They called it Diamond Way. And
That's
the other guy,
incredible.
his name
Clear,
was Lama Ole.
clear skin
So
like
many
diamonds.
jokes I could make.
Yeah, no,
so
this guy.
Skin like
No,
diamonds.
go ahead,
Lama
make them,
Ole.
Rainey. Go ahead. We can take it.
Go on.
Lama Ole was this old German dude who was a Buddhist monk, and he would come live at the house for a little bit and bang all the girls and then leave.
Hey, nothing
The true
against
life of
that,
a
it's
guru.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah, just become a cult leader, get pussy. That's
Just
why
depending on your
everyone becomes a
size.
YouTuber. Everyone's little YouTube community is their own little cult.
Mm.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I do believe that is the only reason anybody ever becomes a religious leader is just so they can fuck whoever they want.
Mm.
Worked for me. Worked
It doesn't
for
even
me.
have to just be.
Till as old as time.
The oldest time, the oldest, just like the oldest profession. And then I have it. I mean, the last 2 are kind of bullshitting it because I couldn't think of any more examples, and I made this just earlier today. Song of Ice and Fire, the moral message is fuck you. Okay, next slide. Moving on.
What actually is the moral message of that
Yeah.
entire
There
series?
is none. It's
Yeah.
just all nihilism, and the story's never going to end.
Oh,
and George
thank
R. R.
you.
Martin is just telling you, go fuck yourself because I hate you as my reader.
But that would, if it's
Yeah.
nihilistic, that's still a
Irene,
moral message.
Did you read that thread? Because that sounds very similar. You might have just said it without even reading it. Too.
No, I didn't read it. That's just my
Okay.
opinion. That's just anybody
Yeah.
who is actually
It's
a
just
fan
the
of the
truth.
Song of Ice and Fire books. It's just we're on
Yeah.
this like mental crisis now of
It's
like pure
it's
hatred
funny
for George.
because I haven't read the books, and I've just kind of randomly got into that thread more because there was a podcast about it talking about Lord of the Rings, but they had some pretty interesting points. Like he was saying that George R. R. Martin wrote himself into a corner because to have the nihilist ending of his story, this is actually why this is like the conspiracy theory of why it never ended. And there's 2 theories. One is that the natural logical end to his story is that the Ice Walkers win and everyone dies, and he didn't want to do that or couldn't, so he would have had to break his own mold and like turn it into Lord of the Rings at the last second, and it would have been like felt weird, so he like didn't know what to do. And then the second thing about the FU to the audience is that the meta fact that by not finishing the story, it is the ultimate nihilist FU to the audience.
Dude,
Yes!
nihilism is so soy.
Well,
It's the
you
most
That's kinda
soy
cool.
George R. R.
ideology.
Martin, you listen to him, he is like super postmodernist, lefty, so I wouldn't even be surprised. But I do think that it's that part about him not leaving his story completely unfinished and that being weirdly fitting of nihilism and postmodernism, that was unintentional. I do think if you've read the books, that there is a character that does fit the hero's journey pretty well and its brand. And if you've read George R. R. Martin's other work, he has this kind of thread of it's sort of like the meek inherit the earth kind of thing, right? It's like the cripples and the people that are outcast from society, they win in the end. And that, if there is a moral message, then that is one of the strongest ones in A Song of Ice and Fire. And I think that's his intention. And sort of like in people that are honorable, they don't win. People that follow the system, they don't win. People that are evil, they don't win. It's the people that are the outcasts and the cripples and all that stuff. But it is very fitting that he is a postmodernist, nihilist weirdo who can't take responsibility and finish his fucking book, and his work reflects
that's kind of
that
so fucking epic. As
nihilism.
much as I'm not a nihilism guy at all, but novel, but you said it's like you've almost turned it into a quintessential work of art for me. Like if you really wanted to like performance art, if you really wanted to express true nihilism, you would make a nihilistic piece like that would capture like the minds of the entire fucking world for so long, and then not end it, but not only not end it, make a TV show version of it that ends in a really disappointing way, so people almost want the real ending more, but then you never. That's ultra nihilism.
I'm
That's
glad
that's
that
fucking
you
pure
find
art.
my suffering so entertaining, Jake.
Your suffering is
Thank
art.
you.
Your suffering is an extension of his unintentional.
Jake does have a taste for the meta stuff, which is fine. It's good.
I've never watched Game of Thrones.
Irene,
Sorry, Jake.
I will apologize for what I said as long as you put me above 1. There we go. I
No.
apologize.
All right.
I was gonna do it anyways, but
That's
I'm
fine.
glad that was
Listen,
your only
Listen,
criteria.
I respect my elders, Jake. Now, I do think. By the
Fuck
way,
George
Jake,
R. R.
that
Martin.
hat is pretty big. You're looking more like a Grand Wizard instead of Hyper Wizard.
Yeah, I gotta put. It's how I fit my meta narrative
That
appreciating
escalated
brain. I have to. It goes all the way up here.
Your big
is
brainness.
This is my big brain where
Yeah.
I'm like,
Your
Game of
massive
Thrones
brain.
is the most amazing work
Yeah.
of nihilistic
never
art of all time.
Seen.
I hate everything.
I've
What-
never watched Game of Thrones, and honestly, you guys convince me like every week. Minus you, Rini, talking about the Red Wedding and how well it's written. You convince me every week not to fucking watch or read Game of
Yeah,
Thrones.
don't
Yeah.
watch or read it until it's over because at
Alright.
this pace it's never gonna fucking end. It's like really brilliant character writing, but if there's no end, then what is the fucking point, right? And you notice that I have not actually. People in chat have been like, "Oh, I'm gonna bring up Berserk." No, I didn't actually put Berserk in it because Berserk has not ended. So I don't think that it's right to extrapolate a moral message on a work that hasn't ended. And I only put Song of Ice and Fire in there as a clear joke. And Vinland Saga
That
is
was the height
historical. So
of
we
art.
know how Vinland Saga ends. It's going to be a tragedy, and you kind of can already know that where it's going. But
Noel,
these
were you
stories
gonna say
need to
something?
end.
How would you
You're gonna
define?
say something.
I don't
No,
know.
let
if
Noel
that-
speak. Go on, let Noel speak.
What? Now I forget what I was going to say though.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
shit.
man. Now I feel like a piece of shit.
No. Just
It's all
Von
on
put,
No,
or
it's-
Hype Wizard put me on the spot. What
Yeah.
was I
Oh,
gonna
so it's
say?
Jake's fault. Hang on, is it Jake's fault or
it's
my
not
fault?
your fault. It's Jake's fault.
Okay, cool. It's
Okay,
Jake's
what is
fault.
what is
Jake's
this?
thanks
Why
for
are you
saying it to me, too,
why are
though.
you interrupting my beautiful presentation?
Just for this beautiful piece
Hey.
of fan art that Lyco Meow just posted. Like,
Oh,
I like
No,
how he just didn't
yeah.
draw your full like facial hair. He just drew like
That's
part of it.
well, I did say
Oh.
I was wearing a dress at the beginning of the stream, and that is how I draw my own facial hair. But
Was
I
it?
remember
Very
you
cute.
wearing a tutu or whatever, a muumuu.
yeah,
I remember what I was gonna say though. This is just again a kind of good point from that podcast, but they were saying that there are like a handful of lots of these big fantasy books that are like they can be 2,000 to 4,000, 5,000 pages long, and at that point a ton of stuff can happen and it can all be great, but when you look back on it, you're like there wasn't an overarching reason for why this stuff happened. Whereas the opposite of that is like Lord of the Rings, where everything has a reason, everything ties together to kind of support the meaning of the story. And that one, I think they even pointed out like the map of the world is like, very fine tuned and meaningful. And like, so that's kind of cool seeing the difference there. And Game of Thrones, you said, is a little bit like that. Like the political intrigue, it kind of could be anything, but it's a lot of it and it's all pretty good. And then it's over and it doesn't even end.
But do you
Yeah.
think that a whole
I like
like,
Don Goes Solo's message.
I think the idea that an entire work needs to be finished in order to get a message, like an entire run or entire series, I think is a little. I don't buy that because those arcs can have messages. You can have a message throughout. Within issue 1, I have messages, and that's not a complete story. I think that it's. Yeah, I get what you're saying with that, but I think to say something's not finished, therefore you can't extrapolate.
you can. No, I mean I didn't want to extrapolate
want
for
to
this
understand.
presentation.
Right, that makes sense. That
No,
makes
but
sense.
you're totally right about it. Within a story, every chapter can have its own message, just like what we were talking about with The Walking Dead.
Do I have to read this dialogue? Do I have to
Yeah.
be...
I think
Yeah, do it.
I think we could. I mean, I could do it
But
without
you have
it.
to do it in an offensive Asian accent.
Wizard of Power!
I regret,
Super Shine!
I regret everything. Anyways, Bobby Christopher for $1.99. Thank you so much for the super chat. GOT is only good in short 20-second clips. Well,
Isn't
Let
it
me
it
guess,
works for
Bobby,
you,
aren't the
then go
boob
ahead.
scenes, Bobby? That's probably what he's talking about, honestly.
Isn't it Chrysophis
Yeah,
like
it is.
Chrysalis?
Chrysophis.
Yeah, not Chrysophis.
No, it's
Chrysophis?
Chrysophis. Chrysophis. No, it is.
It's
Chrysophis.
Bobby Vinesfis.
Chrysophis? That's how you say it, right?
Chrysophis, yeah. No, you're right.
Chrysophis.
No, Rini says it right.
Yeah, that's right. I'm always right. So right, the last part, having a moral message versus preaching, aka the difference between telling a story that has morals in it and has a fucking point versus propaganda, which is what we get all the fucking time nowadays in entertainment and especially in comics. So I don't know if I got this right. There's certainly a lot of debate to be had, but it's very hard to pinpoint what makes something read like propaganda, but I think I got to at least part of it here, so let me try to present this. Okay, so when does a story become preaching? And I'm kind of using preaching versus, like, if it's propagandistic, then it's preaching, right? So it's the same thing. When the moral message that a story extrapolates is disingenuous, if it is not an honest argument to the reader, but an attempt to trick the reader through tactics like emotional manipulation or tactical omission.
Ooh.
Or,
I wasn't listening.
and I'm sure there's multiple points.
Just read it, Jake.
I will read it for you. I'm trying to.
He's already read his
It's
10
funny.
pages today.
I
He can't read
asked
it.
Jake. I gave Jake feedback on my on his thing, and I go, "Oh, would you read my script?" He goes, "Dude, I got to be honest, I can't read." Remember that shit?
What?
He's paraphrasing. I said I'll
well,
get
my
to it, but I
version's
gotta
funnier.
tell you, I am actually kind of retarded.
I won't believe you have said that multiple times. I don't believe you, but if you really mean it, I'm
"Jake,
sorry.
Okay,
Oh, you're
I was like, "Jake,
broken."
it's okay."
I was like, I am somewhat illiterate.
Oh my god. The accent betrays you. So there's multiple ways that a story can come across as preachy. And another way is the media assumes its message would be correct even in the absence of proof and effort. So, for example, a story could say, our ideology is only an ideology that can bring peace to the world, but the logic is one-sided, it's badly proven, it has no steel-manned argument or counter-argument, and it basically expects you to believe that they're right, their way is the higher way just because they say so. And that is also, I think that's a structural, in a structural sense, what's happening when stories present themselves as, it's like they're talking down to the audience, right? Because they're treating the audience like it's stupid. Like, if I just tell you it's true and lie by omission and tell you that this is the right thing to do and we're always right, and so you should just believe us, that comes across like you're treating the audience as if they're idiots, and that's what happens. And
I'm gonna totally throw in the same wrench for the beginning and just do the conclusion of it being on a spectrum. Because if you had really good propaganda, you wouldn't sense any of this, and like, you know what I mean? Like, it's on really over annoying propaganda, like obvious propaganda.
Yeah, it's not even good propaganda, man. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, give me that.
Well,
it's like the people who believe that stuff would not see what they're reading as propaganda. You know what I mean? They'd be like, yeah, this is right. But if the veil has been lifted for you,
well, depending how much of an NPC you are, yeah.
I think that a good story, because I mean, you could say that, isn't that like saying, well, you can't say Twilight is a bad story because some people enjoy it, because you can't say that a piece is propaganda because some people believe it.
I'm saying it's no. I was just saying the overtness of the propaganda. I know this is an obvious thing to say, is on a spectrum, and if someone's really good at making the propaganda, you wouldn't even notice these things.
That's true, but I think that
that's
why I use preaching instead of propaganda, because it's
yeah.
Yes,
you didn't even use the word.
You
didn't even use the word propaganda.
I actually didn't. I was just saying that because I think sometimes it's interchangeable, but specifically in this presentation, I use preaching because some works like I have more examples later, like V for Vendetta or 1984 or Brave New World and a lot of other works, they have very political over messages. You could say they're propaganda, but they are done in a way that respects the audience. They're well proven. The entertainment comes before the message still, even though it's very close and the message is very strong. The author is clearly very opinionated. It doesn't come across as preaching, even though one could say, yeah, it's propaganda in a way, because it is very political. And that's the last point where I think the most important part here is that when a message comes before entertainment, that comes across as preaching, because when the messaging, when the author puts their personal messaging ahead of character consistency, world building, and other aspects of entertainment, they don't respect the reader. They're not trying to give the reader something that's enjoyable. They sacrifice all of that to just beat the reader over the head with their own opinions. That's what makes a story become preachy or read like propaganda instead of just a piece of entertainment that has a strong message.
I agree with that. I think also, generally speaking, the message will come through with what comes naturally in the story. If you've crafted it well, and if it's intertwined well, you shouldn't need to like stop the story to lecture people, or rewrite entire characters, which is what I've seen so many people do now. People will be like, "Oh, well, it's changed," and it's like, "No, dude, it should flow naturally. Like that's a sign of good." Casablanca's propaganda? How's it propaganda?
The chat sometimes makes jokes, Vaughn.
It's anti. It's
Casablanca, so
that's what I was saying. No, because I was waiting.
Did you know people in the chat are also funny?
People in the chat sometimes make jokes, and they confuse me as well.
Yeah, there's one old. I might have mentioned this before because it's a dude told me about it. Some dude, but it was that propaganda, an example of a propaganda film that's become a classic film, and it's Battleship Potemkin in Russia. They made it during the Russian Revolution, and it's about a revolution that takes place on a battleship during the revolution. So it's like a mini revolution within the big revolution, and they don't like the captain. It's like the bourgeoisie versus the workers. But the story is like really good, and it'll give you goosebumps, and it'll make you want to be a communist. And then you kind of shake your head, and you're like, "Whoa!" After you see it, you're like, "Oh, never mind."
Take like a cross.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost my place. What tab was I on? Shit. Okay, I'm back. So here is a few examples. I have a story can be morally heavy but not preachy as long as the characters, plot, and entertainment come first. And I misspelled a word, and Allie's going to track me down and murder me now. Strongly moralistic stories that do not read like propaganda. At least I think they don't, and I think that's pretty universal, pretty objective. To Kill a Mockingbird, Vinland Saga, V for Vendetta, and probably the other ones that we just mentioned as well, stuff like 1984. Unless you guys have others.
I'm trying to think about V for Vendetta, and
I've actually never read it. I confess, I've only seen the movie.
The movie is also good, but it's one of the things you should read. If I was going to say read it, you should read V for Vendetta.
No,
I would say the movie fits that more than the comic.
Yeah, there is obviously like a really overt moral message, and it does feel good in V for Vendetta if you're on that team. But I wonder if that's me loving the propaganda of V for Vendetta.
Yeah. It could be just that I'm like, ooh, down with the government. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely,
because it is fully anarchistic. Like
a little bit.
It's like anarchism presented as anti-fascism.
In a way, knowing the author.
Yeah, and then like you can see that being tiptoed into being a commie.
Yeah. That speaking of some of what we're talking about, this reminds me of like if it's a strong moral message, but the message is like inverted, which could be like a negative thing, or maybe if that means like there's a weak moral thing, that's something, but it can be strong, but then like a strong no. And that's what this screenplay, this movie, Viridiana, it's a black and white movie by Louis Buñuel, and it's one of my favorite movies, and I bought the screenplay and read it once a year. But it's about a woman who she's a nun, or going to become a nun and take her vows and everything, but then her uncle, she has to see him once more before she becomes a nun, and he kind of raised her, but they haven't talked in years. She doesn't like him that much, and he didn't even raise her. So she gets there, and then she finds out he has a super creepy crush on her, and he like almost like he like drugs her and is almost gonna rape her, but then he doesn't. But then
Wait, what is this? V for Vendetta?
What the fuck? No, no.
Yeah,
It's
this is the
really-
plot of V for Vendetta.
I was like, I don't
Oh
remember
my
this
god,
scene.
what is
Okay,
this?
yeah,
I
This
was
is
like,
the
the
plot of
comic must be really
it's
different.
Viridiana. So then he begs her to stay in the morning, but he kind of confesses to her, begs her to stay. She leaves because she's like, screw you. Then he commits suicide and hangs himself. So they call her back and he left everything to her. So she holds off being a nun for a little bit. And her plan is she's going to use his money to try and help people. So she opens up her place to all the homeless in the area. It becomes a compound where she's helping them, teaching them to paint, teaching them to cook and stuff or whatever. And then it ends with like her leaving them for a little bit. And then they all kind of go crazy. They throw a huge party and she comes in on it and it's like total chaos. They've all gone crazy and they try to rape and murder her, but she like barely escapes. And then a bunch of them
Fuck
get
is all
killed.
this rape?
And then
What
just
is
like,
there- This is like the really hardcore version of There's Something About Mary. It's like there's something about
yeah,
What the fuck is this story?
Which one is this? No.
it's just called Viridiana. It's a great movie. But
there's
it's,
something about Viridiana.
That's
The only
Alan
thing-
Moore?
no.
No.
This is Louise Boonwell. This is a movie.
Oh.
It's an old
Louis?
movie.
Louis was
or
like
Louis?
it's Alan
Like-
Moore. It sounds like Alan Moore.
Louis. I think it's Louis. But
Oh, of course it's
yeah, it's
fucking
just funny
French.
because the only reason I mentioned it is because it's so strong. The message, you can feel the message, but it's like dark comedy. It's kind of funny. The message is kind of like she was trying to do the good Christian thing and it really backfired and she became super nihilist by the end. And she's just like, can't handle it, or because she kind of becomes a little bit, because she starts really prissy and hoity-toity and judgy. And by the end, after going through lots of trauma, she's like kind of normal. So it's funny, but it's not like a woo atheism wins movie either, because atheism is kind of stupid. And I don't even know if Louis Boonwell was an atheist. It's like kind of just a fun little story. But yeah.
You can be very heavy-handed, but as long as you're entertaining as hell, I
Yeah.
think an author can get away with it. I just thought of Inglourious Bastards. It's like, what was the
Oh, yeah.
moral of the story? Fucking Nazis suck. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like every Marvel book is like Nazis, and nobody cares, and they think that
Well,
it's
they think
cringy
Nazis
because
are like
they're not
Inglorious
entertaining.
Bastards is like really good Nazis though. Like
Yeah,
I guess you
it's-
can.
It's done in a fucking entertaining way, so it's like nobody minds that they're like, oh, beating you over the head, the Nazis suck. Yeah, good. Like you want those Nazis to be fucking blown up there. It's great.
They
Are you
live,
guys all the
too.
same? That I will always watch Inglorious Bastards over Django. Like
I-
even though Django is fucking good, if I ever think about
Oh.
watching Django, I'm like, but I could watch Inglorious Bastards.
What is the?
instead.
I actually prefer Django more.
Really?
Yeah, part of me
Yes,
likes
Django
more.
was great. Yeah, Django was the one,
Really?
again like very like slavery bad. Okay, everybody knows, but it's just done so well. They go so hard that it's fucking entertaining and it's great.
Damn,
Dude, that
Crisis
last-
Comics
Yeah.
says
last
Django every
shootout.
time.
The last shootout.
Oh,
Holy
it was
shit.
so good.
Eric
I love when I
Eric
love-
Guapo says Django more. Wow.
Interesting.
Django.
Say bye,
We should
Miss
have,
Laura.
I'm gonna. Paul, do you guys prefer Django or Inglorious Bastards?
You know,
Oh,
there's
Dan-
a
That's
line.
hard, though.
There's a line in Kill
think I'd
Bill
go-
where they
Make
say,
a vote. Make a poll.
I've only
I
seen
will.
Django once, but I don't know, man.
Go on. No.
they're talking about samurai swords made by Hattori Hanzo, and they go, you compare a Hattori Hanzo sword to any sword wasn't made by Hattori Hanzo. Basically saying you do not compare these swords because they're all great. And like he's talking about how he perceives his own movies. Good for him, whatever. But he, like Tarantino was like, do not compare my movies. And everyone always asks him in interviews, they're like, which one's your favorite? And he's always, you can tell he doesn't like that question.
The ultimate comparison is which one are you going to watch? If you have all of the DVD, they're all there. You get to pick one. Like which one have you got to watch? It doesn't have to be your
Depends on the
favorite, but
mood.
it's the one you pick to watch. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this poll. I want to see what the chat says.
All right, poll is up, chat. Everybody
Okay,
vote.
I'm
Let
putting
us
my
know. We have
bastard
100
vote
people.
in.
We have 100 people watching still, everybody.
Hey,
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you guys for
That
being
thumbs
here.
up.
We're talking about morality and storytelling. Remember to hit the like if you haven't done so yet. And there's a poll up right now. We want to know if you prefer Inglorious Bastards or Django. So hit one of those options. Let us know.
Mega Man MG says Reservoir Dogs, which obviously isn't on the poll, but this came up the other day. I was talking about it with a friend, and Reservoir Dogs, I'm pretty sure that everyone talks with the exact same quote unquote voice, and it's like Tarantino's voice because he was like 29 when he wrote that. So it's like very punk, very like fresh on the scene. This is my voice. But everyone talks the same. Then cut to like 40 years later in his like 9th movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, everyone has a distinct voice. Everyone talks differently and interestingly. They're both great. Like it's a funny point that with movies, at least, all the actors will bring to it and give it their own. They kind of make it their own, even though the writing is the same. But so yeah, like it's like if you could choose one or the other, would you rather be like a grizzled veteran who knows all the tricks in the book, or would you rather be a young gun punk who's just bringing some new shit to the table, but you're not getting everything right or whatever?
Let me get caught up on a few super chats. Sorry, people are yelling at me about super chats, so I have not forgotten. I just don't want to break the flow of the conversation. All right, Nico for another 200 arses. Thank you for those arses. Song of Ice and Fire is not fantasy. It's a political thriller in the Middle Ages with Darwinian giant lizards that spit fire. I kind of agree. Yeah, I wouldn't exactly class it as fantasy. It's a political thriller with fantasy dressing on it. Good point. Reese M for $5. Thank you very much. I got Fiendish 2 yesterday, Randy. Yay! Thank you. Very well done. I liked it more than the first one. Looking forward to 2.5. Thank you so much. I hope you like 2.5 as well. I endeavor to do better with every book, so I really hope you keep on enjoying the series. I think 2.5, the 0.5 chapters is... Thank you, Jake. The 0.5 chapters are a little different. I think the tone of 0.5 is a little different than the main books, but I'm very proud of what we did, so I hope you like it. Let's see. Can you talk about the morality of your stories? Oh, we should do that, but I will circle back to this and we'll do that at the end because I think it'll be fun. We always like to talk a bit about our stuff. Eric the Guapo for 5. I only like my Granda Propolis.
My Ganda Propolis.
That's fine.
That's pretty good.
You can like your propaganda or your Ganda Propolis. All right. To each their own. DJ2K for $1.99. Thank you. I just got Earthbound 3. Can't wait to read it.
Oh,
hey, look at that, DJ. Thanks.
I got my shipping notification. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
And Hyper Wizard, who the hell is that? For £2, fake money. Kick Vaughn, says Hyper Wizard.
Wow. That's better. That is worth more than your filthy American dollars.
In my
country, royal money.
Hey, Jake, you want to know an objective fact? We beat the shit out of you if we went to war with you. Sit your ass.
Do you want to know an objective fact? The longer that super chat stays on the screen, the longer your face is covered.
The audience would lose out big time.
Now, hey, Jake, have you ever? Do you
maybe
know
I should cover your
Florence
face again?
Pugh, the actress.
Do I know who?
Florence Pugh.
Not personally, but I feel like I've heard the name before.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. She was. There's a scene in Oppenheimer where.
Yeah, she's in Oppenheimer.
Is she the one with the tits? Is she the one with the gets her tits out?
Fucks him in front of the
at
the HUAC meeting.
People don't
she's
know
a commie,
what Jake's accent is. She has a kind of similar accent to Jake, I think. Like,
yeah, I am Florence Pugh. They were my man boobs in Oppenheimer. I was just wearing like a mission.
Actually, you do have a similar face. Yeah, you and her. You have, what do they call that when you compare bone lengths and stuff?
I don't know.
Oh, phrenology.
Yeah.
What do you call that when you compare?
We need to get the Chinese AI phrenology.
Races have different skulls, kind of fucking pseudoscience.
Jake, what kind of bones are we drawing length for?
When it comes to Florence Pugh, one bone specifically. Sorry, go no. What we say.
Just that you and her have identical.
Listen, next time Vegas, we'll do some.
Someone shut this guy up.
Holy shit! Hey, he said it. Not.
Yeah, I was.
Vaughn
Coleman said it right here. It's going to be measuring bones when we meet up at Vegas with all the guys.
Let's measure.
Well, it was Narwhal's idea.
You can't measure it unless that's.
Sounds like your idea.
That's what he wants you to think.
Penology. But yeah, I guess if that's trans me. Florence Pugh, and I guess it's not too bad a road to go down, modern man.
I'm gonna pull her up so you guys can see just how much she looks like Jake.
Now I need an image, but I don't know.
I'm
trying to imagine female Jake. Okay, anyways,
for research purposes, really?
Someone in the chat, Photoshop my beard onto Florence Pugh, and then prove no like
Florence Pugh.
Alice
But,
BRB,
yeah.
that's your meme for today. If you haven't made it yet.
And also,
do
I'm going to
that.
throw this in. If Narwhal is saying I look like Florence Pugh, here's the thing. I look like the Photoshop stretched version of Narwhal. We have the same nose. Honestly,
You're saying-
if you
So you're saying
you
I
The
look like
widescreen
Florence Pugh.
version.
I'm
He's the
saying that
widescreen
you
version.
You're saying I look
also
like
would
Florence Pugh?
inadvertently look like Florence Pugh, but if you took in Photoshop a photo of you and squished it, I've wanted to get the photo of me and you together in the blue one that you used as the thumbnail for your Tampa video, and I wanted to like take my head and thinning it and put it on you, and take your head and stretch it and be like, can anyone tell if I'm gonna do it during this show? I'm doing it right now.
You gotta have
Yeah.
the same glasses though too. You gotta get the same model.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
similar.
All right, I don't know how we
Pull up
got
this photo.
here.
Oh,
Can
yeah,
I,
let's
like,
talk
can
about
I
reality now.
finish this presentation?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but
Please.
just let me show Florence Pugh real fast.
Holy fucking shit!
Yes, every
Look
episode
at-
she gets
Look
interrupted
at Jake
as
and
fuck.
look at Florence.
Oh, fucking
Yeah.
hell.
I don't really
Identical.
see it.
Oh, that's
I
because you don't have the
see.
artist's eye.
One of them
I
is
really
I
called
guess
like
a woman.
I can see the nose. That's the cheeks and the nose a little bit, but the eyes not so much.
You're trying to tell me, Noel, that you think I'm fucking beautiful?
I
This
guess.
this is a much more beautiful version of you. This is if you were beautiful. So don't
Wow,
Yeah, see?
that's
So you're
fucking
telling me the
cold.
chance?
Might as well be Jake just walking around.
I mean, we got
that
this-
one really doesn't look like.
My
No, it
boobs
doesn't.
are as big as hers, so we got the same tits.
Okay, we've seen for. I don't even know why we brought that up.
Because I obviously look like them.
Please let me finish this presentation.
Yeah, of
Give me-
course.
okay, all
Can I
right.
finish,
So,
please? Can I finish?
okay, in conclusion, I'm about to kick everybody here. In conclusion, this beautiful, beautiful PDF that I made is amazing and wonderful. You're going to totally hit like and subscribe, and you're going to follow all Creative Block shows from now on because I did such an awesome job. In conclusion, the moral message is a behavioral argument based on theme. A moral message is not necessary for story, but can add to engagement. But I think we have also established that most stories do have a moral message, or at least a message of some sort, whether moral or philosophical. Stories with strong moral cores and low moral cores exist on a gradient. Moral messaging should be extrapolated naturally from plot and character and not put before entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Mhm.
That was a
And
good
and
presentation,
Lana.
honestly.
What about down?
Juana. I already gave the best compliment in the private chat earlier. You can't just like jump over my compliment.
What do you
It's
mean?
very-
Oh, you're wait. So it's an original thought. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Well,
original.
So,
I'm the
all
only
right,
one.
so
Wait,
fine. You know what? Let's keep
I
that
just so
logic.
good.
So Rini does releases Fiendish 3. Someone's allowed to compliment it, and then no one else can compliment it.
No,
Yes,
no, I
how
want
well-
all the compliments, please. Just lay them on. All I want are compliments.
But I did have
I need a bigger
questions.
ego.
I had questions. So what the like? Because twist-based storytelling, was that an episode I missed? What is twist-based storytelling?
I think
Made that
it's like logic-based, cold storytelling.
All right,
I
cold.
think-
I'm not accepting the cold warm thing. It's logical and emotional. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
She
That's
meant-
basically
she meant
what it
plot-
is. Just
she meant
Narwhal decided to be fucking
plot-orientated.
My
difficult.
moral stance is that I'm not accepting those terms.
Listen,
Yeah,
listen.
You guys
Take it up
like
with Narwhal.
temperature of water.
I am.
Nothing wrong with temperature of water.
I agree. One is
we
one is.
totally fired Phil, and
Here's
Vaughn
the-
is now
yeah.
is replacing.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Vaughn
I asked
doesn't
Phil
know.
what. No.
Vaughn doesn't understand the concept of interactivity. That's his fundamental missing piece of the puzzle to why he doesn't understand cold and warm storytelling.
What's okay?
Yeah, maybe.
What?
What was?
He did-
I
What
see
was?
what you're doing there.
Yeah,
All right. Well, hang on. As much as I'd love to hear about that, let's talk about morality, Jake. We could talk, explain why I don't understand interactivity another time.
Well,
Down
did you
goes-
have questions about it?
Yeah, well, that's the twist-based thing.
know.
I
Okay.
still don't fully get, even after you just like it, because it has to do with the warm cold shit.
No, it doesn't.
No.
So these are all shows and discussions that we've had before,
Mhm.
and that's what I'm referencing. So,
I'm
warm
not
and
caught up in
cold.
the lore.
That is, yeah, this just is channel or it's show lore. The warm cold thing is exactly as you extrapolated. It's Narwhal's way of saying more logic based stories versus more emotion based stories. And the twist thing is, Literature Devil did a video on it, and that's where I first saw it. And I think that's actually a pretty interesting way of viewing story, where some stories can be conflict based, where every plot point is more about a conflict and you fight and you resolve a conflict. Or you can have a story that is a sort of what slice of life is based off of, but also some mostly slice of life. I think that's in the context of Literature Devils video, it was Western versus Eastern storytelling, but like I said, I don't think it's completely strict. So the story isn't necessarily about a conflict. It's just about, I go to visit my neighbor, but the neighbor twist is actually a dragon or something. And the story is interesting because all these unexpected twists, and it makes sense in the end, but it's not necessarily about a conflict. Like I'm fighting with my neighbor. It's just things happening, but they happen in an interesting way, so you're still engaged.
Gotcha.
In the Eastern formula, in the West, it's proactive story. The hero goes out on a mission. In the East, it's reactive. Something happens to the hero, and they react to it. So within that structure, if the character would draw have an epiphany because of the twist, like a personal one, that would be like the realization of a truth. But you don't have to do that all the time, because a twist can just be a plot, an intriguing plot twist. But yeah, that's why I guess you're saying it doesn't happen as.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, proactive versus reactive.
Down goes Solo. He said, "What do we do for our stories?" If anyone wants to answer that, like I feel like everyone has. It can be different for stories, and it can be in general where you stand on that spectrum. Do you like to do more, less?
You guys go ahead. Okay, about you guys go ahead.
I wanted to, okay, you guys.
Comedy is probably the genre that's potentially most about morals, even though the characters are usually vehemently immoral, but that is exposing a moral code. Like comedy also challenges morals and manners, misrepresents them. Like I don't have a good spiel on it, but it's in inverting them and flipping them and like making all these moral changes. It like is exposing it's exposing true morals by not even representing them properly. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the inverse. If you want really good propaganda, make a comedy, I guess. Because if you can disarm someone by making them laugh and then make them think, oh yeah, that's what it's really like. Like there's a lot of comedians with fucking dog shit views on the world. Like we just literally had Louis C.K. going off about one. But like even Bill Burr is like, we need less humans. It's like you're fucking retarded, but but he can win people over to that. Even though that is a retarded concept, by making a joke about it, and then people go, maybe that is a thing. Like, if Louis C.K. made some kind of joke about opening borders or whatever, and he might win people over to that by making a joke about it. Like, it's potentially the most manipulative form of story, because you can, if this is what I learned about as a kid, and probably why I focus on comedy myself, you can almost get away with anything if you make someone laugh. If you're in trouble, but you make your parent laugh, you're not in trouble anymore. You know what I mean? Even though you might get punished, you're not psychologically in trouble because I made you laugh. You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of like my little thing about morals.
I mean, you can manipulate people and making them feel sad too. Like, oh, I'm such a piece of shit, but you feel bad for me, right?
I think
that's
it's easy. It's a hard. I'm talking about what is a harder needle to thread, and maybe a lot of people struggle with comedy, but like it's just for me it's the most potent. Like you can use sadness in a story to tell a moral, but like I think that potentially has a worse hit rate, because I can think if you don't do it properly, most people will almost go in the opposite direction. Like, oh, you tried to make me feel like that. Like when a movie tries to plays the sad music when something happens, I listen to that and I'm like, you're just using the sad music. Go fuck yourself. I'm not.
The overbearing soundtrack.
Yeah,
this isn't sad. This is just sad music. Get fucked.
Dude, they would. There'd be like with student films, especially, there'd be like a few soundtracks where like if someone played there, like, "Are you fucking use that MP3? We've seen that 5 million times." and it'd be emotional music. That's one of the things. If I was an incompetent storyteller, I would just look up sad music and then just put it on there. But no, I mean, look, emotional manipulation is certainly. I think you touched on it really well. A tool for. It could be a tool. Like you could tell. Obviously, emotional manipulation is a thing in general, but generally speaking, you want to add it if it's advancing the story. I think really a lot of it comes down to just good storytelling. But one thing I did want to ask about early on, you mentioned themes versus moral message. While I agree to some extent of what you wrote, I think it's not as simple as you laid it out, because I think a moral message can be more specific. But I think a theme, to say it's as simple as like crime or something, is not true. I think saying crime doesn't pay is a theme too in itself. I think it's
that's an oversimplification for
that reason.
a bullet point on a presentation.
Right, but I just wanted to expand on it.
Cool.
I would say it depends on. I don't think there's like one textbook way of defining these things. It's definitely general in a way. It's one of those things where, especially with theme, again, we're touching on a lot of gradients today, but I could see what you mean, where I would personally say crime would just be a theme. Like the story is talking about crime, but crime doesn't pay, that's a moral message. But you can extrapolate more on that and say crime doesn't pay because of so on and so forth. But you can also frame it as crime doesn't pay is a theme, and the moral message is crime doesn't pay because this and this and this, right? There's more.
The broader moral to crime doesn't pay is if the philosophy in crime is like, if you give in to corruption, you destroy yourself. Like corruption leads to destruction.
Mm-hmm. I think,
but you can have a story about crime that it takes a complete opposite direction. Like crime is necessary because survival comes first. So that could be an opposite moral message. So what would crime on its own be? Like I do, you know what? I will backtrack a bit. I think that bare bones minimalistic idea, that would be the theme, and anything that's extrapolated from that is a moral message. And you can expand the moral message to have a longer proof that crime doesn't pay, or crime doesn't pay because of this or that, or crime is worth it in these situations. But all of that are different lengths and ways of framing a moral message.
But I just think saying crime is just too shallow to classify.
Falling to corruption. Crime is falling to corruption. Crime is giving up on the moral code, becoming corrupt.
See, and
the not paying is, it leads to doom. Corruption leads to your doom. Like that is that is kind of like the philosophy of crime, which is different to detective as a genre.
Let's see, crime. Yeah, I just think crime is too, like, saying something like that is too shallow to call it a theme necessarily. It's like,
why not?
Well, no.
Because
crime is the question. The theme is the question. The moral code is the answer. Like after she put the single word ones on the next slide, she expanded what she meant by theme.
Like, for example, I would say like, oh, crime leads to suffering would maybe be a theme, and therefore crime doesn't pay. Right, you can do crime, this. I would say it's multiple steps to get there.
I wouldn't put it that way.
I'm just, because I'm trying to understand. I'm just, I don't know if streaming with Vaughn is causing Narwhal to descend into madness.
Yeah, wait. We were talking. We were answering Down Goes Solo's question about how.
I'm sorry. Did I know
our own morality? And I'm wondering, like, I did the comedy, but for Connell.
I left. I don't know where you guys were how we got here.
We were still. I finished mine, but does anyone else have?
I guess. It is a fascinating discussion and topic this week for me, because I don't think about it too much, and I was thinking like, maybe on the spectrum, I'm just more. It's more on the cold side in general, but I'm not usually trying. I'm more, when people say, "Ooh, try to be objective," I'm like, "Oh, that sounds good to me. That's what I want to do." But then that was what was weird, is like that has its own paradoxes, where being objective can be it can still be less or more moral within that. Like if you're trying to be objective with real life, all the stuff you're trying to do with the moral stuff too is you're trying to find like universal truths, and good versus evil is like an attempt at that, you know. So even with trying to be objective, you still come across these things.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes naturally, you'll find. But when you're doing a good storytelling, I think often, you know, it's good to extrapolate, but I think what you're saying is true, that it kind of, even if you're not searching for it, like the way you approach stories, it comes across.
Yeah.
I need to read more of your stuff, Narwhal. I've done the Narzak collection, I think I have.
Nice.
I need to read Earthbound. I'm really curious to read your writing. I think for me, it depends on the story. I find that like because I've gone through many different rewrites. I find often it comes from strengthening the story. I find finding my moral backbone often leads to a better story for me. Like, for example, I want to care about this character more. Well, what drives them? And then that leads to morals, or like making this character have consequences more often leads to, okay, well, what I'm saying is because this person didn't train hard enough and didn't take the proper precaution, that leads to a lesson because I just wanted the story to make more logical and emotional sense. So I think it really depends. Often just being a good storyteller leads to better morals, I think.
Yeah, that was one I still wonder if someone with bad morals could tell a good story. I almost think you couldn't. Like, I almost
Definitely.
Well, you can, because if you find, let's be honest, how many times have you been like, this person, I like this person's writing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, then you look at their Twitter and it's just fucking.
or you look
Yeah.
at their crimes.
Right. Yeah, I think.
Like the autobiography of
like the
Oh,
Twitter.
shit, yeah, like the Twitter. In those cases, though, I think a lot of people, write from what they wish they were or what they know is right, and people don't always act in the way that they ideally know they should act. That's probably the explanation.
That's a great point, honestly. Makes sense. There's so many times where I'm like writing my main character. For example, for years, I'm like, yeah, my main character, he works out. I'm like, hold the fuck up. Why am I being such a lazy piece of shit? And I'm putting my main character in the grinder. I'm like, you know what? Fuck. But that's what the power of fiction, you know, now. But I think that it also inspires you to be better. Like even characters like inspire me to go to the gym and stuff, like, or even just little things like work toward that goal. Well,
You
hold
go
on.
to the gym.
Yeah. No, but I go to the what was I saying?
The showers, right?
Hey.
Mainly the showers.
You too.
Fuck you.
Just
Showers.
fighting the whole fucking night.
Well, Jake started it. We just said it was just like, oh, we were saying something nice, and then Jake just goes, kick Vaughn.
Oh my god.
There was no, it's not like, oh.
Irene, can you throw up my screen real
You're
fast?
both pretty. Oh no!
Here's someone with questionable
We're
rules
fighting for
writing
who
books.
gets
Oh.
Queen.
Seemingly a good book, I assume. I assume it's a good book. Who knows? Time sure does fly.
Yeah, listen.
Wow.
I may have got too far in a few places.
Mike Barron in CG, he said a outside the box perspective on some of the Bill Cosby stuff that I appreciate. And he said, he's like, what they don't tell you about that is that those women, they wanted every time because of Quaaludes. He was given, they loved the Quaaludes. I'm like, oh, it's this old drug that nobody knows about anymore that is like everyone loved.
Oh, isn't that like saying, well, she really wanted to get drunk, so what I did afterwards?
Yeah, that's
All
hold
those
on.
crack-
That's
all those crack whores really wanted that crack.
Yeah. That's
That's
what
the
it's
matter
saying.
that I totally
They really wanted
raped
that
them
fucking crack.
afterwards. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Or maybe you could say like it wasn't rape because it was transactional, or that's what maybe that's what you said.
Dude, watching
Pretty
these
sure it was
facial
rape.
expressions over the course of just Narwhals, that was a journey in itself.
It was a whole fucking like 5 stages of grief. It was a journey.
You see, there's character arcs everywhere, guys.
Yeah, they are. There are many character arcs.
Our entire lives are one big character arc.
Yeah.
I would say
Unless-
so.
unless
Jake and
we're an
I have gone
alcoholic.
through. We're going through our conflict arc right now. I think.
Every day.
Vaughn,
Or
I think you're great. I wouldn't make any
No,
of
I
those
know.
jokes if I actually
No, I
disliked
know.
you
I'm joking.
because-
Oh, see, now the arc has evolved. Okay, good.
Mm.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Now
I
he
also
is-
don't think.
Now it has to
Now
go
that
back.
was a
It's too far.
ruse on Jake's part to
Oh.
turn on into
Yeah.
complacency.
Oh, okay. So you can slap me
Or
down.
is it just me manipulating things so you guys can fight more because it's
See, this
entertaining?
is but
Who
this
knows?
is a good
There
point
we
because now
go.
we're
This is the
interpreting
true
morals. See, now
conflict.
we're interpreting morals and the motivations behind
Your
things.
sense
Speaking of
motive
in-
is not very high, is it?
Speaking of
My
interpreting morals, share my screen.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here, where? What's that? What the fuck? What the fuck is happening? Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm gonna have nightmares!
I feel like I look like the new me looks like Hogan.
At
It
first,
looks
I thought it was Jake. At first, I thought it was Jake.
You
and I was
look like
"Dude,
Markiplier.
Oh
Wait,
yeah,
who
maybe
does?
Markiplier.
Who?
Oh, that I do not
Dude.
like that.
The
That's
entity on the right hand side.
Holy shit!
I need to lose weight so I can look like
Man,
Markiplier.
I'm trying to think of who Jake. I swear to God, I've seen someone who looks like Jake's face with narwhal. Like I've met someone who looks exactly like that.
my head with Novel's beard is like typical like neck beard.
What the
No,
fuck?
yeah, like
Giant fucking
Narwhal
okay,
looks
I'm
like
gonna-
Narwhal looks like the kind of guy that like Narwhal. Okay, how do I even classify them?
okay, yeah,
Narwhal
wait,
with
I
Jake's
can't
face.
deal with this.
which is Jawwall and which is Nake?
All right.
It's Jawwall.
Fuck.
So the
I
Jawwall
think
is on the
right
the
left.
side.
second half of the show, I'm going to play,
Shit! I didn't even.
and we can continue this riveting discussion.
Down goes
about-
Solo says an improvement for both of you.
Yeah.
That's
guy on the
right.
left-
All right, don't leave. We will be back in 30 seconds. All right, woo! We're in the second half.
Part 2.
Part
Time to boot up the
two.
paperclip game.
This is
I can't believe you took that off the screen, you coward.
the chill part of the show, even though we've been chilling for a while already. Okay, anyways, continue.
Just
Irene, can you give me a wrench in the chat for like just a second? Can you like
Don't
totally
have
just, you know-
to, you don't have to.
I don't
I
have,
did
have a
say-
wrench.
are we
Django
not allowed to
Solo-
talk about
Django
it?
Solo asked, he said, like, are there more
Yeah, you can still talk.
within your stories? And that made me think they do that a lot in Star Trek, and it's always the best Star Trek episodes because it's fun when both sides actually sound like kind of good, or they're like a little bit harder to make the arguments for each side. I'm trying to think of it because they're hard to think of. It's really hard to write. So whenever they do it, you're like, oh man, that's cool. But there's one that I remember where it's a planet that entirely done away with war, but instead of war, what they would do is if they had disputes, they would submit sacrifices to each other in the name, like, so people would have to like volunteer to be killed so that the death counts were 1/10 of what war would actually be, but there was still death. So they still, the world still like made sure their shit worked or whatever. And so Kirk comes into that and he's like, what the fuck? This is crazy. You can't just be sacrificing people. And they're like, no, every person we sacrifice saves 100 lives because we are a warless planet. And this is how we don't have war. And he's like, I don't know exactly how to argue against that, but you cannot do that. And they're like, well, we're saving lives. You're killing people. So, and he's like, and I think he does. In the end, I think he does. I don't know if he F's up their whole society or not, because that's his moral decision is, do I mess up their entire culture and society, which he's not supposed to do, just to save one life because he happened to become friends with someone who rolled the dice to become a sacrifice. So that's like a good one.
Yeah, I think you know what's funny. I've never seen Star Trek. Never seen
Oh, yeah.
Star Trek, anything.
I didn't see it
off,
till
Jake.
later in life.
Vaughn's like, I'm not a
I'm not-
nerd.
No,
Yeah.
I'm a
The most culturally illiterate person on today's episode for once. Holy shit.
Well, okay, hold on.
I hadn't watched about 70% of your examples, but I just shut my mouth.
Oh, well,
listen,
shame on you.
Oh,
I know what
yeah.
I need to learn. I did want to ask also when you define morality, because that was another thing. How would you define it?
What do you mean?
What?
We
Right,
were
What?
here for the last fucking hour and 2
No, I
hours.
know,
Yeah.
but we
We
were
just
going
didn't
to.
see the beginning of it at all, and now
Oh.
you're like, we should just start
Show in
over.
the beginning.
No, I did show the beginning, but I'm saying,
Oh.
I didn't realize you had a sign that specifically said this is what morality is.
No, we didn't cover that.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, sure.
Right.
We can have that. We can have it just. Morality is an interpretation of how a person should best conduct themselves in life.
Mm-hmm.
would-
Seeing as Irene is a coward, I've just put a link to a vote on Twitter.
Wait,
You have
what?
30
What is
you
this
have
shit?
thir-
Wait,
you have
where is this
30
accusation
you-
coming from? What the fuck? Oh, hold
You
on.
have 30 minutes. You got 30 minutes to vote. Who wore it better, Jarwal or me?
Wait, what? Was I told to make a vote of this? Where is this
No,
fucking accusation coming
because,
from?
because you took the photo down off the screen because you were too horrified. That's what.
That's not being a coward. That's just like, it's fucking disgusting.
All right, I'm
Okay.
retweeting this.
Because of Irene's delicate disposition,
Oh man, this is good.
So, anyways, we're talking about morality, Vaughn.
Oh, we are. Yeah. So morality.
because of Irene's delicate.
So, let's look at who won the Inglourious Bastards versus Django Paul. Let's see. Oh, Inglourious Bastards is winning. I think that's pretty definitive. It's 61-39.
Damn, I don't know. I have
There
to
we go.
watch them both.
He's gonna keep on doing it.
We're currently at 0 votes. Who wore it better? Jarwal or Nick?
Still has this horrifying image on the back end that I have to stare at.
Click the link. Go vote. Oh wait, who won? Inglourious Bastards won. I was right.
I would say. I think I still might say Django. I don't know because I like both. But I might.
Who cares? The chat voted. That's the truth. The chat is love. The chat is.
What was the percentage?
61% in.
I don't know why I like Django more.
Yeah, I think part of it.
We
is-
know you guys
doesn't-
think it's better.
Well, I'm on the fence, but like I think part of it, what I like, because I don't want to say anything bad about Inglourious Bastards, so it's tough.
Why? Go on. That's the point of being
No,
on
but I
shows
like
this.
both. I think part of Django, what I like, it's a simpler like A to B story, so it's much easier to follow. Not saying Inglourious Bastards like you can follow it too, but yeah, I think that's part of it. I don't know though.
Crisis Comics. What? Is that a real word, or am I saying something really offensive because I don't speak German?
I'll
Deutsche-
say
Look it up
then,
first.
Because
Uh,
Deutsche Schittenflipper. Schwimpenflipper.
Schittenflipper. That's right. Deutsche Schittenflipper.
We're currently at 2 votes on the Who Wore It Better, Jarwal or Nick. It's 50-50. I'll post the link again.
I don't know because one of them they're
Head
both.
over and vote.
All right, so I'd rather be friends with Jarwal than Nick. Nick looks like some
Yeah.
dickhead who would
Yeah,
correct you
the
on
second
Twitter.
guy-
Yeah.
Jarwal looks like a guy who's like I'd hang out with, but I'd also like keep at a distance. You know what I mean? I'd be
Jarwal
like-
does look a lot
like-
cooler than Nick.
He looks more fun, but he also looks like a guy where it's like I'd have to take him in small doses.
Seriously,
because-
Jarwal looks like Markiplier, doesn't he?
Nick looks like
Markiplier?
fucking Will Wheaton.
Ugh.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Like Nate looks just like a little fucked up. I'm like, there's
Nate-
something wrong with this person's face, you know?
Nick, but he also looks so smug, and like
So-
the kind of guy that
I'll
like,
show it one more time.
There we go. There's
This absolute,
It's so bad, man.
absolute fucking horror show.
Jarwall on the left, Nate on the right.
You know the worst
So
part is
it's-
like the hair, Narwhal's hairline got grafted onto your hair.
Oh,
It's
did
like-
it?
So look at the top. It's like he kind of still has wisps
Oh
of bangs, but you have the long hair, so it looks like a
It's
fucking
so bad, man.
mini
Yeah, like,
mullet.
It's
I'm
it's
gonna
also
have nightmares. of
my
this.
my face for some reason is like a psychopath face.
I don't know
No,
why.
no. Well, you look great. Like this is Noel Edmonds in a with Will Wheaton. Do you guys know the one on the right, Nate, is Will Wheaton, but Narwhal, you on my body looks like Noel Edmonds. Do you guys know who Noel Edmonds is?
No.
Okay, I'll have to bring it up. Hold on. Wait, present share screen. Oh, I could have just switched to it. This is Noel Edmonds. This is what Narwhal looks like. This is what Jarwall looks like.
Like a younger version. Maybe
Yeah.
a little bit, you know.
You need to get head widening surgery, Narwhal. So you can, like,
And
be
Is
like
that really
Noel
what
Edmonds.
Said?
Yeah, look, he's
This is so
Yeah.
scary.
I really fucking hate this picture.
Party person said,
The-
thank you. Oh, brother, get the flame or the heavy. flame,
no.
yeah.
There's another perfect match. Hold on, shit. Did you guys ever watch Drop Dead Fred? You know who Rick Mail is?
No.
Okay,
I've never
No.
tried growing a beard, Akuma.
you should give it a go. It might help.
I don't know
boy.
why we're looking at this. This is just.
Hold on. I'm about to show who another person that Jarwall looks like. This,
Why are we doing this? What the fuck?
That's for
I
some
don't
reason
think
that
so.
is nightmare shit too. That's just a regular guy though.
That's Rick Mail from Bottom and Drop Dead Fred. Rick Mail was hilarious. He's dead now, but
Okay.
that kind of
That guy had effed up phrenology.
Dude, I don't know.
Just-
the thing is,
what, just
I could
his-
send
Holy
that,
just because his
shit,
eyes
I
tweaking up
could
to the
send that
edge.
picture to people, and they'd be like, "Oh," I'd be like, "Oh, these are my friends," and they'd be like, "Oh, that's okay, cool." Like they wouldn't think anything of it.
No, they would be like, oh, cool. Why does the guy on the left look like a fucking alien that got punched in the face by a truck?
Oh my
Like,
god!
it's just
Dude.
so wrong. That, like,
Dude,
the
imagine.
face
All
is
right, so I
Photoshop
wouldn't. I
wrong.
wouldn't. But like, I had like imagine. I just no conscience, just text this to Graham Nolan and just see what he says.
This is horrifying. No offense, it's not Narwhal's face. It's
Patrick.
fucking
Oh, all right.
Photoshop.
Hang on. I'm messaging this to Patrick. No context.
Okay, all right. Let me get some super chats. All right, let me get this shit off the screen. Pablo, do you have
All right,
for-
I just sent that to
15
Patrick. No context in a
Oh
text.
my god.
I got the hiccups.
Pablo Diablo, thank you for being a member for 15 months. You're awesome. Thank you. Hi, Rini. Looking forward to backing Phoenix 2.5. Yes, thank you. Maybe I should pull that up and actually promote ourselves. I should do that. I was going to promote us. That's right, but then everybody got so sidetracked. It's okay. It's my fault. I'll do a round of promotions. Marumi member for 20 months. Thank you so much, Marumi. Can you fucking mute yourself? I'm gonna kick everyone on
Do
here.
it.
No,
Kick
no,
it.
no,
Kick
us
fun
all.
allowed.
Kick
so
us all.
fucking tired. Okay. How long? Wishing you all the best Saturday. How long? What?
It's the second half. We should be allowed to hiccup into the mic. I think.
No, it's okay. No fun at all.
I mean,
guys.
you can,
No jokes.
and I can also kick you. Yeah. I didn't
What
say no
the-
jokes.
What
Fair
the
enough.
fuck-
Don't get
What
all.
the
Don't get all
fuck?
pissy.
What the fuck is happening? Share my screen again.
Down go solo for 10.
No.
What about moral accomplishing your major character? Ooh, okay. We can look at
Yeah,
Down
we
go
can
solo
get back on. Yeah, we
trying
can get back
to
on.
ask serious questions while we're just. Oh my fucking.
Let's
God.
answer that right after Irene shares my screen again. Let's answer that. Hold on. Share my screen. It got better. It got better. It got better.
Oh,
It
this
got
one's-
better.
This I don't know.
So there's another layer to this. Come on. There's another layer. Share it.
Who is making these?
You'll see exactly who's made them when you share.
This one's
So,
not as bad.
I
'cause
I
it's like-
believe
I don't think this. I don't think this
Listen,
one's as bad.
what I
No.
believe has happened here. What I believe has happened here is either he used the man filter on a phone app and the female filter on a phone app, and it made Narwhal look like the Chad meme, and it made me look like Irene.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, he wouldn't make
Or
you.
he specifically put Irene over Nake and made Nyrene.
Yeah, if the female app somehow just happens to look like Irene just because of that face
The
is the starting
glasses
point.
look like the eyelash just extends to the hairline.
There's no way that just happens to look like me.
I think I've argued with some people who look like on the right on Twitter. Honestly,
I'll apologize
With the
for.
beard.
Oh,
Hold
let me explain.
on.
Neroli
I
explain.
got this. Look, it's easy. It's right there.
Oh my god! Yeah, you look like
That's what
a.
I look like with the beard.
It looks like a. I'm not gonna say.
What?
I mean, I'll apologize for the horrors I've wrought.
wait, is that?
on
I
this
know what
world
you were saying, Jake. Hold
if,
on.
if you move me above born
Romy
again.
says it's Cavill and
Never.
Irene, so it's not.
That's Cavill.
Ah, okay. So
Yeah.
it's
You should've done-
Nerjavel and Gyrene.
Maromi, if you really wanted to match, what you should have done was you should have done Cavill, but like with the CGI upper lip, like in the Justice League cut. You guys ever see that?
Oh yeah.
Greeny,
Saw
you've
the
seen this,
clip.
right?
I saw the clips. Yeah.
Would you go with that version of Henry Cavill?
No,
with the
I want
CGI
the
upper
real.
lip?
No, I want the real Henry Cavill. Why the fuck would I pick the CGI?
But what if that was your only option? Take it
Oh.
or
I
leave
can't believe
it.
I'm below.
Well,
I can't believe I'm below Vaughn
I
again.
guess, better than nothing. Better than nothing.
CGI upper lip.
Oh yeah, better than nothing. Fake Henry Cavill is better than no Henry
That's
Cavill.
fair. All right, so we got mainly.
Thank you for that horror show, Maromi. Okay,
Yeah,
can't.
that's-
Irene,
Can we have
who
one?
do I need to kill to get above Vaughn again?
You can
What do I
take
need
this
to
off.
do?
You can take this off screen, and then I'll forgive you.
No,
Thank you.
hold on.
It's gone. It's gone.
You really does look like being a villain.
Why you feel so threatened by me, Jake? Let's talk
It's my
about this.
insecurity. It's my insecurities. It's obviously deep-seated
That's what I think
insecurities.
personally.
It's my central moral code.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's your moral
It's
message
your-
is
is
that you
your
have
arc-
to be above the pecking order from Vaughn.
Yeah,
This is gonna end up. You guys
that's
ever
the
see There Will
central
Be
moral
Blood?
truth to my universe.
You guys ever see There Will Be Blood? That's gonna be fucking me and Jake in the last scene. Jake's just gonna be bludgeoning me.
Oh my
What
God.
happens in that film?
Oh, you haven't seen that film? Oh, it would have
No.
been funnier. All right, let's see.
I've seen the porn parody version. There will be cum, but
Why would you watch? Never mind.
Okay,
I feel like There Will Be
below
Blood also works as a porn parody too.
has
yes, that's the one.
Yes.
You watch that one once a month.
Dagoso has a serious question. What about moral conflicts between your major characters? It's not that funny. Periods happen. I don't understand why this is that funny.
We're a great.
Share-
double.
share-
Periods
share
are
my
no-
screen. Share my
Periods
screen.
are no joke.
Just for a
Periods
second,
are cool. Okay.
I can't tell if I'm just not drunk enough or if I'm not getting it.
Drink water. Drink more, and you'll find out.
FK,
Oh, yeah.
thank you. Yeah, this is a disaster.
This one isn't. This one's just like stupid.
This is a
And
really
look, I
great
like
show.
stupid. Oh shit! I actually turned my camera off.
Mhm.
Speaking of stupid, he kicked himself. I didn't do that.
It's for the best. His camera probably died. His camera probably died, and he tried to turn it on, and it kicked him.
Was he drinking? What the fuck are you doing? I can't add him back. God.
There
What
you
the fuck were you
Hold
doing?
on, no, I didn't do anything.
Oh my fucking
What the
god!
fuck happened?
I don't know.
Hang
You
on, is
just
my
did-
camera going ape shit? Like I don't
Okay. All right.
Hmm.
Let's answer Dagoso for $10. Thank you very much. What about moral
There you
conflicts
go.
between your major characters, pro antagonists? Any takers?
know. Yeah, I mean-
Connell is like completely immoral and is just racing through everyone. Who's like, why will nothing stop this man? And but I think later on, over the course of the story, he will come to terms with how he's behaving. But then, well, I don't know if this is even spoilers. there may be a potential. It's like an extreme. Then there might be a flip to the opposite extreme, and then overall it'll be like finding the happy middle potentially. But as conflicts with other characters, every single other character that he ends up being almost in the same room with becomes like in moral opposition because they're like, I don't want to die, or have my boyfriend have his soul squeezed into a jar or something.
So he basically goes around just taking advantage of every situation and killing everybody. But
He's a full ADHD. That doesn't
He just
know
wants
what
the
it's doing.
points, bro. It's not personal. I just want the points, bro.
I just want the job points, even though he always fucks up because he's not even getting good points. He has a terrible job point score because magical government social credit score because
Well, he wants the points, but he never gets them. So
Vaughn, Connell is a communistic dystopia, but with magic
and penises.
and
I've read it.
yeah.
Wait, Rainy, what do you grab? Is that art? Like you're grabbing, or you doing art or something?
yes.
Rabid.
Okay, I was just wondering.
well,
did we bore you
actually-
that much, or did you just have work to do?
Well,
This is the second half. You can work.
I was just curious I was curious if there was like a deeper moral meaning. No, I think
no,
Jake,
I have
for
work
yours,
to do. I don't
Yours,
need to watch.
your campaign. It seems like one guy kind of is just purely selfish, and the others. Well, actually, they're both. But one more. I guess they both have quests, the hero and the villains, from what I read, but like in a different way. Because the main villain definitely has goals.
Who are you talking about?
Jake's
Well,
Connell.
the question is like the moral conflicts between characters. There's a motivational conflict between them, but I'm bet Dango Sola means in like the typical anime sense of like, this is my philosophy and I'll win out, like Yu-Gi-Oh with whatever the main kid's name and then
Really full
Satokai.
screen that.
Or like in Pokemon with Gary and Ash.
Hold on.
Like Ash is like, I love Pokemon, and Gary is like, I'm a cunt. I really fucking want to
Yeah,
own
well,
that.
I do too.
I really
want to
own
that
it.
off.
She's going to put it on the campaign, so it's going to be underpriced, and someone's going to get it in 2 seconds. And everyone look at Casimir's neck.
What?
What's wrong with his
What
neck?
do you see on it? Irene, you even added an emanation this time on the other page.
What's wrong with his neck? Nothing's
Hold
wrong
it
with his
up.
neck.
Hold it up.
I'm not showing it ever again.
Hold it up and just
Because
show
you
the
had-
people.
You had to ruin it, Jake. I'm not showing it. Here's the one I'm inking now.
He's nice, looking good.
This is just
There
a
will be
portrait.
blood.
Yeah, and Michael Rushbrook's doing a few sketch cards. So on the campaign, we'll have these 2 pieces by me, and they're sketch cards, but they're huge. Look how big it is. This is like a sketch card, and Michael will also have a couple. So there you go.
Nice.
Be there, be square. We're launching Saturday.
That one of them on the grassy knoll together. That could be a print.
Oh my god. No, dude. The grassy knoll?
That's great.
knoll.
That's great.
You
They are on the grassy knoll, though.
She's about to shoot the magic bullet.
Yeah. There were 2 shooters.
Actually, I've wanted to draw this scene
The
for a while.
first shooter is on Casimir's shirt.
Oh my. Okay, it's fine. I'll just show it because Jake is immature. Oh look, his collar looks like a penis. Oh my god.
It doesn't.
wow.
But you even added something coming out of it this time.
What
Because
looks?
that's
It doesn't
just-
look like.
Oh,
okay,
I see. I don't
like-
care. That's fine. Yeah.
That's fine.
That's cool. Little.
I was, Jake. I was.
Hey,
Jake
I
is
didn't say
really
I didn't say it was a
into
problem.
penises.
I
Yeah.
didn't
Like-
say it was a problem.
Oh yeah, call it the grassy knoll print. and make
No, I
it
mean,
a
Jake,
print.
that's
Yeah.
okay. You could look at the. I was looking at the woman's boobs. I mean, you could
You
look
can
at
Scan it
penises.
before you
That's
sell
fine.
it.
That's
Reese,
totally
so you have a digital
heterosexual, Jake.
file, because it's pretty sweet.
This is
Yeah, this is wonderful.
Oh, I didn't know people would like it that much.
Please
I gotta
make it as
go.
a print. It's Please make it as a print for the
Really?
book.
You guys like it?
Yeah,
It-
you know what I
yes,
like about it
please.
too? It's the isometric perspective. There's no horizon line, so it's grass all the way to the top. That I love when illustrations do that.
Yeah,
That's
like what-
especially
Akira
I'm-
does.
it's a little hard to draw, but
I'm not trying to go over the top with how much I like it, but if you were to have a storytelling cover for this particular story, this would actually be a very sentimental storytelling cover for this particular story.
Yeah,
Just saying.
It's not when they were a team. See, Ragna doesn't have her tattoos. Casimir doesn't have his neck scar.
It's before their shit got fucked.
I mean, he
Yeah.
already had his shit fucked, but you know, he's not quite as jaded as now. And it's just a story relevant detail. Ragna is going over some runes, and it establishes that. I mean, it's not a huge spoiler. I've said it. It's on the website. Casimir knows a little more about shamanism, and you see.
She's
that
like,
in chapter 2.
this is the PowerPoint I've prepared for the presentation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you know how in chapter 2, Casimir knows some like stuff that normal people don't. This is why. It's because he hung out with Ragna. So it's like a story relevant detail.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's great.
Whee!
I'd get that. Definitely do that as a print too, not just for something or a cover.
Sure.
Do you
I
guys
mean,
remember?
it's
Do you guys
small.
remember Nipplegate from a sketch Rini did? Oh, it was the Cave Girl sketch, I think.
No, what was that?
So people were saying that the nipples were placed in the wrong spot, and then we were all like, "You can explain that's wrong," but it was kind of hard. We had to like make like a whole map and graph out boobs to figure it out.
The nipples were not completely level. I admit they were not like waterline level.
If you ever need to explain that, all you have to say is they're not nipples, they're puck leeches, and she just went for a swim
Yeah.
in a river full of puck leeches.
Yeah, as I remember, it was correct, but it's like for whatever reason, it did at first glance, it looked weird, and you're like, it's because they were kind of pointing out. So then turn that to the side, and then it looked like one was facing the camera, one was looking that way, and people are like, "Nips, what are the nips?" Like,
I
"What,
gotta
you think they're
commission
like
you
this?"
to draw boobs or something.
Yeah,
Rini.
those were. I think the boobs were good. I didn't do the most symmetrical job on the nips. I apologize. I wanted to get it done quickly because I remember like Narwhal was going to print, and I was like, oh no, I have to get this in for him.
Yeah,
Well, share
and I
my-
squeezed
share
it
my
in
screen.
too. It made it for back cover of the hardcover.
Share my screen.
Notice my nail. Yay! Being such a girl.
Yeah, here it is. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Nipplegate.
Nipplegate. See, I think it's funny. It's like at first glance it's just a little weird, but then it's like, no, that's correct.
Well, it's a little weird. They're not completely symmetrical, but you know what? No woman is completely symmetrical. There's always one that kind of points weird. Yeah, we all know it. It's boys.
One of
It's
them's
like,
one of
it's
them's
like
an innie.
testicles. One of them is always a little higher. It's just
When
how it
she
goes.
donned
Just-
her shawl and it kind of pulled both boobs to the side when she like put it on.
Yeah, one of them's like just being pulled up by how she has it, like a top's just pushing it around. Like she's not wearing a top properly, but yeah, just like testicles, one of them's always an innie.
Yeah.
One of the nipples just goes in.
Do you not know about that?
What?
Did you not know that that's a thing?
Yeah.
I didn't know
but
that.
no,
Oh, okay.
Yes, I do, but it's weird.
Yeah.
It's very rare, isn't it?
Huh.
Yeah, especially on women. Okay.
Sometimes
Okay, so
it's an
Evan
innie.
That's kind of hot. Oh no! I wish I drew this bigger. I should have drawn this bigger.
She's like, oh, I want to use it as a cover.
I'll redo
Yeah,
it.
I can't tell that it's a small drawing when you hold it up to the camera. So
Yeah.
Maybe I'll make it a cover. I'm glad people like it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
That's
just
so
really
cool.
wanted to draw it because I had the image in my mind.
yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah.
I know because we were still talking. I know Jake answered it, not to, but for the moral conflicts and major characters, I think I remember one of the things like I was doing. I kind of came up with the ideas. They were related, like because my main hero has lightning powers, and so the villain is Dark Cloud, and it was like as a kid I came up with that. But the more I extrapolated, and this is, I guess, where the moral message came from. It would be hard to spoil because you learn the character's motivations later on, but you get a glimpse in issue 1. It's kind of the idea of there's a middle ground you'll find, but between like blind idealism and like that childhood wonder, and then just like the world beating you down when you have good intentions. And I guess ultimately finding a medium through them is what I'm going through. So I kind of use the conflict between the protagonist and the antagonist to highlight themes, because by showing where the protagonist is wrong and where the antagonist is wrong, you kind of can find a middle ground. So I often use that to highlight the themes. I think that that's a good way to go about it generally.
Yeah,
When does
having
White Lightning get his
read-
first kill?
White Lightning?
That's his name, right?
No. Alex VRB keeps calling it fucking White Lightning in the chat. And I think
That was
people
his
are going to be
name.
disappointed when Living Legends arrives instead of White Lightning. But
I thought that was the kid's superhero name.
no, Lord Lightning, not White Lightning.
Lord Lightning! That is really his name.
It's a good
Lord
name. What are you
Lightning.
talking about?
He's called Lord
Totally,
Lightning.
totally a great name that's not cringy at all.
Gay Lord Lightning. What is? Oh, sorry, Vaughn. I didn't mean to laugh at your character's name.
All right. Well,
Lord Lightning.
I'll have to go back.
I am
to the drawing
Lord
board,
Lightning.
I guess.
But that
Phil liked it.
sorry.
Lord
Phil, yeah.
Lightning. It can maybe grow on you. It's taking a couple L's.
Phil has shit
Sorry.
taste too.
Oh, Rini, that wasn't in your notes, by the way.
I thought it was a joke.
Oh God. Oh, poor Vaughn. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh that
You know,
hard.
I
makes it all
added
the
that
way-
in initially.
It makes
Didn't
it
have
all
a
the way through
super
the
name.
editing process because everyone thinks it's a joke, and then it,
Oh,
I did comment because I thought your character was joking.
All right, well, I
when you
had
said that
another
name.
one. I'll put in the chat and not say on air.
Why is that the name that you chose? And why?
Because
do you
I
think
thought
it's
it was
good?
fucking really cool. All right.
Why?
I really did.
That's like
Even like Plasma Boy. Also, you have another
Plasma Boy
character.
sucks
I'm
ass.
not gonna spoil it, but you have another character whose name is too similar to that.
Plasma Boy's cool. I kind of like
So
that.
what?
Lord,
Oh, no,
Lightning.
No, I agree, Rini. I was actually in my rewrite gonna make if you're talking about the other Lord character,
Yeah.
I was gonna make that a thing that I was gonna make it a thing that they use in the media to say, hey, aren't these things similar? Isn't that
Did you
weird?
make his enemy like
Interesting.
Lord Cloud or something? Like Lord Dark?
No, it's
Dark
another. No, there's
Yeah.
another Lord.
Oh.
character. No, seriously. So having read your issue, one, the characterization is honestly really good.
Thank you.
I really like the setup. It's just like you need some work on the names, but the setup is great.
Yeah,
It's
there were a
honest- it's
few
really
names
great.
that were like one of them was a placeholder that stuck. I was coming out the. I guess I could change the main character Caucasian
I
Thunder.
think-
Fuck you!
Phil must have been trolling you. I
No.
kind of think Phil might have been trolling.
No, because it was me. Chad Townsend liked it. Biggins liked it. Everyone who we were hanging out with at Austin liked it. And then I come and I say it on stream with so much confidence, and then
Sorry.
No.
I'm
Someone in
sorry.
the chat though, they said Lightning Lad. That's cool. With
Oh,
Lightning,
yeah, that was the
Lad is
first
a
one
little
I
better.
thought of. I thought it was an
That's
original
better.
idea. I had
Lord.
Lightning Lad. Hang on.
Why would a
Rini,
why would a
Rini, I had
protagonist
Lightning
why
Lad.
would
Hold
a
on,
why
hold
would
on.
a
Hold on. I had
protagonist be
Lightning
called
Lad. I
Lord?
thought it was a great idea when I was in second grade. I came up with it, and I thought it was a great idea until I Googled it and found out that someone else thought it was a great idea like decades ago.
Yeah, that's
And it's
probably
taken.
taken.
Oh yeah. What about there's a RPG called Arc
Fuck,
the
man.
Lad.
Wasn't his actual name supposed to be
Shit.
Flying? Isn't his name actually Flying V?
What?
I thought your main character's name was Flying V. Have I got trolled by someone else?
No,
That's
why
kinda
the
funny.
fuck
I
would I
can't
ever
tell
name?
if you're
He
joking.
can't
or-
fly. Why would his name be
The
Flying
V.
V? His powers have literally nothing to do
Give
with
him the
flying.
V.
His
That's what
powers
he
have
likes.
nothing to do with flying or V. Why the fuck would his,
His
name
friend
be
is
Flying V?
the Flying D. Give him the VD.
He has
Flying
electricity and
D.
super speed. I have a list of backup names, but like, fuck. God damn it.
I do apologize, Vaughn.
No,
I
it's
don't-
okay. I'm glad it got out of the system before.
A weird
we
name
paid
for a
it.
color
Jesus.
is always good. Like the crimson. What's like a word for yellow?
I put a second name in
Uh,
the chat, but just don't, we can react to it privately, please, this time.
Okay.
But
I actually don't know what that first word means, but we'll talk
Oh.
about it later.
yeah.
The lemony lad.
Lemon Lad.
Ah.
He's a lemon.
And he says, "When life gives you lemons,"
Wait,
and doesn't,
now goes
and then just
Jose
kills them with his
Sparky
lightning
Chat.
powers.
Just call him Sparky. Oh wait, that could be a nickname. Like other people when they're making fun of him, and
Sparks
especially because he's
McKenzie.
kind of young, they could just be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, Sparky."
No, honestly, I might keep Lord Lightning in the script now and then have it. He has to change because initially he wasn't going to have a superhero name in issue 1 because he was just going to be like, like when he gets on camera. And then I gave him Lord Lightning
then he should
in a
get
stream of
relentlessly bullied.
confidence. Honestly, this arc could come through on the page because I came through with a confidence of, oh, people will like this. So when he presents it to the public and people laugh at him, much like just happened, that could be a good
I'm
arc.
sorry. I'm really sorry.
No, you know what? It's okay.
really
I'm
sorry,
putting
Mona.
myself
You're
in my work.
You're taking it very well.
That's not.
Listen.
I didn't think.
It wasn't my first
Sorry.
choice. My first was Lightning Lad years ago, and that
Well,
was taken.
It was
It
sincere.
was a tragic.
At least you got Jake's honest reaction to
He
your
should call
story.
himself Lord Lightning. Then
No,
he should get
I think the
relentlessly
worst
bullied.
part was Jake reacting.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe it's one person, and then Narwhal laughed, and then Reedy. Well, Reedy, and then Reedy, because I was like, oh, why didn't you give? By the way, your feedback. Thank you so much. I didn't realize you go through the whole
no.
strip because I know how busy you are. So that really, your feedback. I basically have gone through like every note. The one of your ideas with the visuals, the powers, actually sent to my artist, and I was like, what do you think of this?
Cool.
Nice.
But the whole stuff, I had some ideas related to the world building. I am a bit scared by your world domination plans that you sent me, but
Wait,
Oh
you guys
my
don't
God.
understand. Okay,
You
I
gave me
won't
good
spoil
feedback.
any. You mentioned your story is like
Yeah,
well,
I
it has
know.
World War III,
no, I
so
could. You could say it. It's fine. I don't care.
One day, Rainy
I
will
might
read
have gotten
mine.
a little carried away.
No, you
because,
didn't.
like,
It was super helpful, and
So,
I led me
you
to
know,
research.
I could have done more. I actually was like, I only have 1 day to spend on this entire scenario. So, Vaughn sent me his script with the explicit request that, well, because he wants to write about World War III and China is involved, so he wants me to check on all that
you
stuff.
war game.
And then what happened was I got way too into it, and I decided to write out an entire war game scenario of how World War III would happen if China was involved, and how would I theoretically try to take over the world from a Chinese cultural
Yeah.
perspective. I was the new emperor of China, and I wrote out. I gave you examples of this is where the battles might happen. This is where the American bases might happen. This is where how the ocean battles would go down, and I hope it helped.
No,
It
it
was fun.
did.
This is what I
Honestly,
do.
Rainy, I might want to like even just like paid stuff when I
He
get
did all
to
your
writing the
world
World War
building for
III
you.
stuff. I know
I love
you're
this shit.
usually an artist, but now that you've kind of, I was going to mention this like on that interview. I could even ask now, but we could talk later. But now that you're kind of, you've always been like a artist for hire as well as a
Now you're a
creator, but now-
captive.
Shut
now
the
you're a
fuck up! I'm
captive
talking.
audience.
Wait.
Can you do
Real quick,
5
let-
covers for me?
Oh my
Let
god!
Mor-
Vaughn talk.
Mortal
V
Just
says-
this
No, never
one-
mind,
just
never
this
mind.
One time, let
Sorry,
Vaughn
Vaughn, I'm
talk.
sorry.
Just this one time.
Yeah,
All
he's
right, you wanna-
complimenting me. Let him talk.
Okay.
Okay, and the ulterior motive comes out. By the way, I got
Wait.
one of those, Rini.
Is there a superhero
Wait.
called Kid Volt? Is there a superhero already
never
called
mind.
Kid
Why
Volt?
would I talk? It's not-
That's a good one.
That's-
Mortal V says Vaughn is going to make Taiwan suffer a horrible fate because of Irene.
She told me what to do.
Nuke
Yeah.
Taiwan.
No, actually, somewhere else gets nuked. That Rini, it was kind of based, actually. Rini,
It'd be ironic if
gets nuked.
Irene's notes get published in Vaughn's book. That starts World War III, and then Irene implements her strategies to take over the world.
Well,
Have
my
you guys
know-
heard?
I
Have
know
you guys
how
heard of the
well.
theory that China is actually on about an actual
Dude,
collapse that they're
can you
delayed,
imagine-
and it won't lead to a world war? We'll just stop getting our shit. Have you heard of that one yet? Like they're gonna have a collapse,
Yeah,
and it just
I've
means
been-
we're not gonna get all of the stuff that they usually send.
I've been
us,
hearing
you know what I
about it
mean? One
forever.
day.
There's a lot of. Well, it's hard to
I'm
determine.
never
When
gonna
get
get
too
to
into
ask
the
my fucking
politics.
question.
Go on,
Well,
Vaughn.
there's a- there's a-
Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah,
Sorry.
please let Vaughn finish his question.
What I was saying was because you've done like writing or art fire. Would you ever do like even just editing or writing for hire?
I'm not a real writer. Why would
Okay.
anybody want that?
You're gonna put yourself
you
down
give-
like that.
I would. I mean, if you were available as an editor, that is
Yeah,
definitely
honestly.
something I would give money to.
I love giving feedback. Yeah, sure.
Even just okay. Well, I mean, I'm just even in regards to like because I'm gonna do a whole World War III storyline, even like regards to just editing notes.
Oh
or even
yeah, I
story-
love.
or even
if you
just
wanna.
if you came up with an idea like while we were editing and you wanted to write it, like definitely want to hire you for that.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I love giving feedback and stuff, and I mean, geopolitics is kind of my thing. So,
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
happy
need
to
that
give
for
feedback.
writing a World War III storyline.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Anytime. Come
And your
to
your
me.
ideas again, scary stuff, but good stuff. So.
Was it scary? I was. I
No,
think I was.
I mean a little.
I
Well,
was very factual
no,
about it.
no. I'm kidding. It was really honestly the amount. First of all, the way you condense the information into bullet points, just like a few bullet points, is like really impressive because I know how much research you had to do.
I'm
So
glad
that
it
was good.
helped.
Yeah, that was good. I literally I've had world maps that are printed out and just X'd out with the borders where I think conflicts would take place in World War III. That's gonna be later. That's gonna be a prequel storyline. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, that stuff is pretty fascinating. I love that kind of stuff, like predictive history, predictive geopolitics. There's a bunch of YouTube
Yeah.
channels that talk about that.
Yeah,
stuff.
well, I was finding the line between the predictive part and the just the fantasy part because I am. Do I think superheroes are going to happen? No, and I wanted to the way powers work and certain powers would affect battlefields. Like in a war setting, teleportation is going to be one of the most insanely useful powers.
Oh shit! Yeah, yeah. That
Yeah, that's one
would.
thing I didn't even mention, but yeah, that's going to play a role in.
Mm-hmm.
Is Alex VRB in the chat? I got a hankering to have him meme us. I want to.
Oh
where's the
yeah,
meme,
do we
Alex?
have the meme yet? Because otherwise, I'm
It's
just
about
gonna
that
get.
time tradition.
I gotta pull up.
It's a lot of
everyone-
pressure for him this week.
Campaigns.
A lot of material to
campaigns.
work with.
Let me pull up
Yes,
everyone's
you got it.
campaigns, and then hopefully he'll be done with the meme. But hold on, let me catch up on super chats first. Because yeah, instead of just sitting here drawing, I didn't get much done. I was just drawing the hair. Yeah. So down go solo says double whatever you're going to ask for that. Should I?
Yeah,
what?
everyone's gonna just god, just say no. Just say no to everyone, so you can actually get your work done.
Mhm.
Really? No, it was about this one.
Oh, holy heck!
I don't want to ask too much.
Oh,
Thank you for the 10. Dango Solo. Dango Solo for another 10. What other originals are you selling on your campaign? Also just sell one to me. I'm just gonna have these two. I don't have time. I have a bunch of other shit to do tomorrow. I also have my show with Ali again tomorrow, I think. So these are the only two. But I have a bunch of cool campaign items. And speaking of the campaign, let me pull the sign up page up now. Okay, so I have like the campaign is all set up. I don't want to like pull it up right now, but I can tell you guys it'll be. I'm keeping it a pretty straightforward campaign. It's very book focused. I don't have like too many extra tchotchkes. The main things will be there will be the this cover, the main cover, and the black and white cover, which I don't have it on here. Oh my gosh, I should put it on here. But I'll have this cover, the main cover, and a black and white cover, and the black and white cover will be 24 hours only. I'll have different combinations of those two covers, and you can also get chapter 1 and 2. And I'll have an enamel pin, and there's an exclusive tier with an extra item that you can get for free if you sign up for the email list. So what happens, because I'm launching on Fund My Comic, guys. So people who don't know, this launches on Saturday, only on Fund My Comic. This is only on Fund My Comic. So it launches on Saturday, only on Fund My Comic. And then the way Fund My Comic works is there are no secret tiers, but they have discount codes. So if you sign up right here tomorrow, and I will send the email out as late as possible, but I need to send it out tomorrow because I'm launching on Saturday. You'll get a discount code to essentially get one of the items in this really nice like bundle for free. So that's what you get if you sign up, and hopefully you guys like how that turns out. Yeah.
And I just put the email in anyway. But if I already was in the email for the general site, do people need to do that for the Fiendish 2.5 specifically?
I'm just gonna. It all goes to the same email list. I mean, I can
Okay.
separate it, but it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Here you go. Oh, here's the 24-hour black and white cover and the the main cover, the classic cover. Should I? Oh, you know what? I'm launching on. You guys haven't hanging out with us for like fucking 2.5 hours. Let me show you guys something Let me show you guys a little sneak peek at something.
All right.
Why
let's
not?
see it.
Why not? Why not? I'm gonna treat you all. I'm gonna treat you guys. I got you. If I can finally pull this shit up, I can fucking manage that. That would be really great. Maybe cut off the sign up after the Alley stream. That's a good idea. I'll do that. Okay, yeah. I'll take the sign up page down after the Alley stream, or I'll
Why?
make a. Well, because I need to send the email out. So then
Oh,
when
okay.
people like once I send the email out, people will be like, "Why didn't I get?" Well, you signed up at 3 a.m. on Saturday, because the launch is at, I think I set it for 11 on Saturday. Hold on, give me 2 seconds while I awkwardly try to pull this thing up. I can do this. Pew! Or can I? Here we go. Da 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 da.
This
Okay.
was a great show, by the way. Very well done, Irene. This was a
Was
very
it?
enjoyable.
Yeah, this is a
episode.
good show.
Yeah, I really enjoyed being on this one. This is awesome.
Oh, I'm glad. I
It's
was-
probably better without Phil Diaz.
That's not what I was saying. Bill, we miss you. We're looking forward to having you back. But if you keep on not showing up, Vaughn will replace you. I'm just kidding. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I was a little worried because I did actually spend time and think about the subject and put the
No, you did a great
I'm
job.
serious. I was really tired though. I just chugged a bunch of coffee, so I'm better now. But I was so tired. Oh my god. I was I've been running on like almost no sleep. But here you go. This is a pin that will be the little tchotchke for the campaign. Hope you guys like it. It's gonna be pretty big. It'll be like 2 inches, 2.5 inches. That's what she said. Yeah.
That's all you need, apparently.
That's all you
Especially if
need.
you're from Reenie's neck of the woods.
Hey, hey! How dare you? How dare you? I don't know why I'm offended because it's none of my. It doesn't apply to me.
Yeah,
you know
we
it's a
got
na-
more.
it's a sign of
She's like,
national-
mine's longer than 2.5 inches.
Yeah, it's not. I don't have that problem, guys.
No, it's not. It's a nationalist thing, Rini, is what it is.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I don't know.
My people. I must defend my people.
Let's defend them.
Vaughn once again defending all the Asians in your stead.
Listen, man, fuck off. That's not true at all. All right, you don't know what I got.
Patches for a jacket? No, it's an enamel pin.
Ooh, that would be cool though.
Yeah, that's what this design is. It's a vector design. It's gonna be. I'm gonna go with the one on the left side. So it's not.
Really? Yeah. Can
It's
you?
just-
Did you ask your factory if they can do the gap? Because the orange, the yellowy gap is supposed to be like there's no enamel paint in there, and it's just a recess with texture. Could they not?
They can do that, but I think the red looks better. So I'm gonna go with the left-hand side.
I agree.
Yeah, I like the one on the left. So, I will. Well, that cover design will also be I'll just say it. It'll be a magnet. That's what you get that's the free item you get if you sign up. So, at least that's what I'm thinking. I have 2 days to change it if you guys have more suggestions, but it's free. It's free magnet and it's pretty big. So, that's what she said. Mango Solo for 10. Thank you. Changed my mind. Demand 2,000 for the customer.
No, you should see the super chat before that.
What?
So yeah. You should read his super chat that was before that. So the thing is, he's not wrong about that original art. He's saying at least the thing is, if you put that piece up for 2K, it would obviously sell, but I wouldn't be able to buy it, and Alex VRB wouldn't be able to buy it, and most people would. It would definitely sell though.
No
But
one's gonna buy it for 2,000.
really, really, just saying. There's probably one person that would. At least.
Okay. I don't want to overprice it.
Yeah,
I seem
you
like a
you
bitch.
lowball yourself so much with these prices, and
It
listen,
It definitely would. It would sell it 2K.
I'm
just
happy to
saying.
pay
It's
them, but if I'm being honest with you, this is where I'm going from customer who wants to pay less versus friend who wants you to charge what you're worth. And so I'm having a dilemma here.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. Like, should I save it for an auction?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Make that money. Make that money.
I don't know what to do, you guys. I'm overthinking it now. Maromi asks magnet or pin? Both. There will be a magnet that is only for signups, and the pin will you can get the magnet as well, but you won't get it for free. That's what I mean. And the pin will also be on the campaign. So both.
I really. How much were you gonna price it at? You don't have to say, but I can imagine it would have been crazy low, like 500 or like 200.
Yeah.
That would have been a steal, and I would have been there trying to get it. Oh, whoa! Dango Solo says auction it on launch day. If you auction that on the launch stream, that would actually be pretty crazy.
That's a good idea. Oh.
By the way, still no response.
Huh.
Yeah, auction it. That's a good idea, actually, on your stream. Yeah.
Thank you for repeating what you said.
Right.
No, that is
No, it
a
was
great
my
idea.
idea.
Thank you, Dango Solo. That's fantastic. I will do that. You know what? I decided I will auction this. I'll auction both original art pieces, and I'll try to get a third one done. But we gonna have an auction on Saturday for the launch of Fiendish 2.5.
We
Everybody,
gonna have an auction.
woo!
up in
We
here.
gonna have an auction. We gonna have some fun.
That's
what's gonna
really
happen.
cool.
All right, cool. Thank you for the suggestion, Dango Solo.
Hey, do you want?
By the way-
I don't know if you want to buy them, but you could auction the trading cards I drew if you wanted,
It
unless
just
you want them.
Oh, I don't want to sell those.
okay, dawned on me,
that's-
by the way. Patrick was probably asleep when I sent that to him, which means he's gonna wake up to that image with no context.
That's the best way to wake up. That is a great day.
That'd be a great wake up call. I'll start streaming. I'll try to start streaming at like 10. The launch is at 11 Eastern time. I should probably launch later, but I have shit to do later in the day, guys. So I need to.
So you're
I need
launching
to-
at what
Oh,
time?
Yeah, I would prefer to wait honestly a couple weeks because this has been a mad fucking scramble this week. It's been insane. I have been so busy. You guys don't understand. There's so much stuff to do on the back end because I want there to be no mistakes at all when I launch. And also this is a new platform. So I had a lot of work to do. But yeah, I can't push it back further because I'm going to be busy October and I have to launch this week. And also
Yeah.
Sunday is a bad day to launch, so it has to be Saturday.
That's why I seriously like the fact that you even sent me notes and they were as detailed meant so much because I know how fucking busy. And I also you need a vacation, by the way. Like
That's what I'm gonna be doing in
Do it.
October.
What else is
I'm
going
like
on,
actually
I'm
take-
getting the
but
fuck
actually
out of here.
take it. Like not like I'm gonna be working the whole time.
Well,
like
I
actually
am gonna
relax.
bring my work. What do you expect? I'm not
But I
gonna
mean,
not
like,
bring my fucking work.
Relax a bit. You know?
Being
I
able to
will.
finally thumbnail will be a vacation. Being able to finally thumbnail Fiendish 3 will definitely be a vacation.
I will. I'm gonna visit family in a couple weeks. That's why I have to launch now. So yeah. It was a mad scramble, but I'm glad that everything is ready. Thank you guys for all being here. We got a lot of signups already. It was fucking crazy. Actually, I launched a signup super late because it was like a week, and I realized that maybe we should have a sign up page. Actually, Jake was like, "Hey, shouldn't you do a sign up page?" But I think there
Yeah,
were.
I wish I'd had the idea sooner. I wish I'd come up with that
No,
sooner.
it's fine. Seriously, let me go back to the sign up page. You guys are fucking awesome. I only put this up, I think, on Sunday, and there were a lot of repeat emails because a lot of people are already on the Fiendish sign up list because they had back Fiendish before. But we got at least about 200 new people from what I counted.
Wow.
It was
That's crazy.
amazing. Yeah. So, but total there was more than 200 people signing up. So thank you guys so much. Yeah, I have no expectations. I don't know because this is my first time doing the 2.5. It's not a main book, but I'm grateful for whatever happens, whatever we can get. I just want to show this book to you guys. It's a really good book. You guys are gonna love it. The interiors are beautiful, and they're all done the inks are all done. They're being colored, so you guys are gonna love it.
Jesus, dude, that's like mad typing. I'm looking
On a
forward
Still
different
doing it.
note-
I'm not stopping.
On a different note, Here's the
No,
meme.
we got the meme. We got the meme.
Hey, nice.
And I like that it's flashing back to Vexed Soy Zaro. Like, what is the
What?
portal?
What is going on?
Okay.
You might call that a twist. A twist. And that's Kubrick dead on the ground. Well,
I
guess-
like that
Oh.
Vaughn
This
is the
conflict is
fill in.
Fill in, yeah.
Oh, that's good. And you have the red text too. You got the pin in as well.
Yes, evil. That's
Oh.
why I did it. Who
Yeah,
who
what
is
is that?
that character?
On-
Is that
Yeah,
is
I
that
don't
Phil
know.
or is that
Where? Oh, the
that
guy in
knight.
the. Oh yeah, because that's Phil's cowboy hat, right? Or is that?
yeah. Someone
Yeah.
killed Kubrick. It's a murder mystery. I guess if he was evil, this conflict was inevitable. What's it say on my hat at the top too?
It says "Battle Buddies Forever" from the. It's directly from the last.
That's hilarious.
Is it my battle buddy died? My buddy Kubrick.
You're not saying anything, so we can't determine your motive or like reaction or moral code.
Yeah.
Wait, it does. Is there something on Arlo's hat?
You might call
Yeah,
it.
it says "Battle Buddies Forever." Remember from last time?
Oh, okay.
Who was the battle buddies in the last one? Did I have a partner in the last one? I wonder if we can pull that up somehow. Alex, he can't say anything.
He can only.
Alex is like, a magician never reveals his secrets. He never explains his memes. Actually, yeah. Oh my god, I totally do have the last week's one. So this was, well, I don't know if it was last week, but yeah, this was the Battle Buddies Forever
Oh,
Soizaro
you're right.
investigator with Kubrick.
Wait, but why is there a portal?
Hang on.
When did
What?
we mention a portal today? Why does the new one have a portal?
What?
Soon. Silver Crystal Dragon.
Dude, is
Ball.
this
Remake
always
again soon.
Narwhal's noir character? Just in all of them?
No, this was his introduction, I think, and then this is his reappearance weeks later. I think. I don't know if that was last week's one, the Unvex, because we didn't. What was the one? What did he do when we did monsters? Oh, that was the zombie one with Resurrect. Yeah. The zombie me, and you were all dead still.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was last week. So the portal was to the one before 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I am
Oh,
actually
yeah.
completely confused by. I'm completely confused by this one, but I did like fill in.
I'm
You
just
might call that a
really
tease.
happy that you got the pin in because I'm really proud of the pin. I don't know if anybody else.
That's
likes it
why
as
I
much.
did it. What's
I like.
the
Go on.
cowboy guy Phil? He must be from a previous meme too, with the armor.
Ah,
Yeah.
And he
So,
did something. He killed Kubrick, and that I think that bummed me out. I'm pretty sure.
the
That
monster
bummed
was
my battle
Lord
buddy.
Stong. Oh yeah, last time was the Lord Stong monster. My favorite of all of them was this one.
That was great.
This was such
Yeah.
a good one.
No, this one was
Extreme
fucking brilliant.
edging.
Oh,
This
I'm
was
dead
fucking
too,
great.
right? Yeah.
I'm a removed head, but I'm not dead yet, apparently.
But you do a 69 and 666.
Wait, before you kill me, tell me how you wrap up all these plot points.
That's
So be
great.
there
Napoleon's
forever.
over there.
No, it's not. This is our weekly meme from Alex
Hold on
VRV.
one second, I'll be right back.
All right.
Well, just for completion, I'll show last week's again.
We're
I
not
don't think-
okay. This is a slightly scatterbrained episode, everybody. It's been like herding cats. It's been very hard. It's probably because Vaughn is here and he's like massively ADD. But
We were providing conflict. It was really funny.
right, it was very irksome. We're looking at the weekly meme that Alex VRB makes for the show. We'll go back to
Guys,
promotions shortly.
If you want some meta lore for the show, whenever it's Irene's turn, we always interrupt her constantly, and she gets
Yeah.
pissed off. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
it's just so much fun. Every time I host a show, everybody tries to piss me the fuck off. Congratulations.
I haven't played a single so
Well, I'm glad you did now. That was really great. I'm really grateful.
But yeah, sign up for Fiendish 2.5. It's gonna be sick.
Yes, sign up. Let me go back to this so I can indulge in my own book. I want to show more, but I think I should hold off on it.
Yeah,
Yes.
just hold up. Surprise, be a surprise.
Oh, by the way, so I have here are like a sneak peek, a little sneak peek at the interiors. The interiors are being recolored, just so everybody knows. So the colors will be different, but they're gonna look so much better. They're gonna look great, and you will find out on Saturday. I'll have the new colors up on the campaign. Ah, it's gonna be awesome. So yeah, I pretty
Who
much
would do
already.
that? Who would do that in such a small time frame? That's that's crazy.
It is crazy.
I look forward to seeing them on Saturday.
It's very fortunate I was able to manipulate somebody into doing that. But anyway, tonight it was revealed that Irini is planning World War III. Oh, well, me? No, never.
I mean, literally, you did plan World War III. If you did a war game, you did plan a hypothetical World War III. So technically, you have planned World War III.
Technically, yeah. Listen. Nobody understands what I mean when I say I play a lot of D&D, and I like that kind of stuff, and this is what it means. I mean, I'm not like Warhammer wargamey, but I like this kind of stuff. This is fun. It's interesting. Really like those staggered.
I had my first taste of that stuff, and it is definitely fun. I've got my entire life with no one inviting me to play D&D or Pathfinder or anything. I think I played like Necromunda once at someone's house, but I finally got my first taste of Pathfinder.
I introduced Jake to Pathfinder.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into it yet.
He is now. Well, I don't know if we have any openings.
We don't.
We don't. Oh, I guess so. I guess not for Vaughn.
But it's really fun.
But yeah, so on a scale of 1 to 100, how fucking nerdy was that first experience?
Okay, it was incredibly nerdy. I think I'd been awake for over 24 hours as well. And then you're like, I was just being introduced. And you're like, well, should we do a hypothetical thing? And you were like, but that would be silly, right? And I was like,
no,
that's not.
No, what happened was I introduced you to my GM, and I was sort of just, I wanted you guys to just talk and like figure out what you wanted to play and get a feel for each other. And then I forgot someone proposed doing like a quick test module, but I didn't want to push for it too much.
You did.
Oh, okay. Well,
you
brilliant.
Proposed it,
what a brilliant idea.
And then straight away, you were like, but that would be, no, we couldn't do that.
You don't understand because it's hard. And it was like amazing that my GM pulled it up because you need to prepare for a module. It's not something that you can just be like, let's just play this right now. Like it was just lucky that my GM happened
has to know like the story of the area,
the story,
right?
They have to have the stats for all the monsters, the stats for the location, all this different stuff needs to be prepared. So I didn't want to push for it if he wasn't ready, but we did a mini quick scene that was just like a couple of hours, and it was great. So now you know how to
2 hours? Were we playing that for 2 hours?
I think it was like 3.
Oh my god. It didn't feel like 3 hours.
This is what we usually play like 8 hours.
Yeah, I'm so glad I've finally been introduced to it because it is a headspace I don't think I've ever been in before in my life. Like yesterday, I was already getting the itch to have that experience again. Like I was already itching like to want to play it. So yeah,
it's something else, isn't it?
It really. I can't.
It's weird. I can't explain it either, other than I like how it helps me get in character so much, and it's so intense. There's so much to think about, and I like being in that headspace. It feels like I'm using every part of my brain. I'm not just role playing, but I'm doing the math as well, and I'm problem solving. Yeah. And that's the challenge that I like about tabletops over video games, where it really is completely open world, and it's up to me how I act and how I solve the problems. I can do anything. And you have to react on the spot. It's improv all the time.
We were playing like just essentially just basic test characters, And like you jumped in and you were doing a voice and a character, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, wait a minute, I don't know how to do this yet. I don't know my character. What do I do? And I was like, my God. And it made me, I tried a little bit, but.
No, you did really great.
But I am so looking forward. I've been working on a character today. That's the character I'm going to play. And I've got my voice. I've got the demeanor. Like I know lines that he might say, ways he might approach stuff. I'm so looking forward to doing the actual gay role play bit.
You'll get really obsessed. You'll start thinking about it's like when you get a new story idea, you start thinking about scenarios and things that a character would do and stuff like that. It's the exact same thing. It's storytelling. Timothy Fitzgerald says, Rini, I got my Fiendish package yesterday. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm glad you got it. Edward DMs Pathfinder 1E. That's what we play. We play Pathfinder 1E. I've looked at 2E. I've never played it. I don't really get it. There's like some weird resonance shit, but okay. Just not, I haven't really played it. That name change. How do I back Fiendish 2.5? You can't. It hasn't launched yet, but what is live right now is a sign-up page that is over here. Let me post a link in chat. It's just on the website fiendishcomic.com, and if you sign up, you will get a discount code to get essentially you'll be able to, if you want to back one of the bundle perks, you get a free item. That's essentially what the discount code does. You'll see. But sign up so you don't miss the launch. That'll be Saturday. We're launching Saturday. And I think Maromi said that FMC is on Pacific time. You're right. I did set it to be 11 a.m. my time. So it'll be 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm sure of it.
It's pronounced FMIC.
FMIC. That's right. Thank you for that. Let me cover a few more super chats and let's finish our other promotions. There are other books other than mine, even though I love talking about my shit. You know, I am occasionally considerate. FMC is still on Pacific time. Yes, that's correct. I have checked that. Dango Solo, thanks for all the super chats. Oh, Sincolas, I missed this one. Sorry. For $2, thank you so much. Hey guys, Rick to get school webtoon manhwa sadly. Oh, I don't know that webtoon, but if it did it get canceled? If it did, then it's I'm sorry to hear. Let's see. Dango Solo is already bidding on it. I will run an auction. Yes, it will be an auction for the launch. It'll be on my channel Saturday. It'll be fun. All right, I think I caught up on everything. All right, so I am very excited for this. I don't know what to expect at all on Saturday. We actually got a lot of signups for just a week. It was very short notice, so I guess that's a good sign. But, you know, I'm just going to be happy with whatever we can get. And I'm excited to show you guys this book. It's fucking awesome. That's all I can say.
Nice.
I can't wait. Yeah. Whoop. And I'll show the covers one more time. Look at these covers. Get these covers. Now.
And the Forever cover of part 2 looks great too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that will also be on the campaign.
Even used Forever cover on a graphic somewhere. It's happening. The term Forever cover is bleeding out into the world. I love it.
I'm debating between Forever cover and Perma cover. I kind of like Perma cover, but Jake keeps on saying Forever cover, so I'm like, I feel like I'm being pressured.
No, no pressure. You should do whatever you want to do. You should do what you think is best.
I'll do what I want.
Jake wants Forever cover for himself.
She wants.
Yep.
Yeah, Forever cover and Infinite cover. Infinite cover is where all the covers of all the books link together in one long piece of art for across the entire series.
The Infinity cover is where the transaction for the purchase keeps happening over and over again.
Yeah, you keep getting charged.
No, I would never do
one.
that. No, never do that. Permafrost cover. Alice has such good ideas. I love that. That's very fitting. Oh, Michael Rushbrook says ask me if I want to show the Octo sketch card. Sure thing. If you're okay with that, yeah, why not? Let me do that real quick. Why not? So, Michael is going to have, I think he said, at least like 3 sketch cards on the campaign. probably more. And he's been absolutely amazing. I mean, I swear he's so fast. I don't even know how he got all this stuff done in such short notice. Because I was like, maybe can he get like a couple of sketch cards done? No pressure. Then he's like, I've got 4. Here are 4 of them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it looks.
You know,
it looks
you
super
can
cool.
you can keep putting them up across the course of the campaign too.
I will. Yeah, it's just we'll have the collection that Michael has for the launch. So either 3 or 4, however many he can get done, and I'm going to be auctioning off my original art. But throughout the campaign, we'll be putting up more original art from both Michael and myself. So you want to keep on checking back for the original art. A lot of like small sketch cards and doodles and drawings, just like the Casimir and Ragnar drawing right here. We're going to be getting more of that. So that's the plan for the campaign. It's very book focused. It's just the books, 2 variants only. One is 24 hours, or you can only get it solo for 24 hours. So that black and white cover, it's solo for 24 hours, and after that, you can only get that in a bundle, like the big chapter 2.5 bundle.
Bundle.
Yep.
Dango
So-
Solo says, "Expect my cash and Jake's tears."
This
Well-
is getting competitive.
I'll make sure that you don't get it cheap. I'm still gonna fight. I'm still fighting for that in that auction.
Oh my god, you just sent me a Casimir one too! Yay! Okay, sorry. I'm trying to pull up the sketch cards from Michael.
I'm
we
glad
speak. Give
he-
me a minute.
That was a great idea too.
Yeah. Give me just a second because I
Hey,
have to
yeah.
find
If you can't win that auction piece, you can hopefully get one of the sketch cards. That's the thing.
Here you go.
Oh, that's so cool!
Isn't it great? You know what? I'm going to
That's
show the
a-
Casimir one too, because the Casimir one looks fucking awesome. I like that.
Oh, I'm gonna still.
Look, it's mini Casimir.
That's so
Nice.
cool too.
Not that many anymore, but a few years ago. It's great. Michael's been awesome. So if you guys want to get these will be available on the campaign. And here is the Octo one again. I love this one. This one looks so fucking awesome.
Yeah, that looks so cool.
Timothy Fitzgerald for 2. Your trading cards are top notch. Make a set with 2.5. I will have trading cards, yes. But my trading cards, they're always stretch goals for the campaigns. So I'm not sure which ones I'll have. I have one for Octo, this guy here, and also I won't say a couple other characters from 2.5. So there'll be more. There'll all be stretch goals. So help us get to our funding goals and get to our stretch goals, and you can get the trading cards made, and I'll stat them out as usual. That's going to be a thing. No, not this one. No, she'll
She
come
was
later.
a standout character, like, 'cause she was kind of like you don't see her as much. So I knew you'd see her, but I kind of expected her to be more of a side character, and she was like the heart and soul, I feel like.
Yeah,
of
even from the
chapter.
trailer, like the whole story is like kind of about her.
See, I like
emotional
this
through
one
line.
page. I mean, maybe it's just because I've seen it. Like, I love the one page of the fire and the family. Like, that's probably one of my favorite pages of the book.
Thank you. People seem to really like that one. Yeah, Yomi was interesting. She was kind of a surprise. I don't know if this makes sense, but she kind of surprised me.
No, I've had characters like that too. Characters
She's great, man.
that just I'll have like sometimes like a nothing character or even a throwaway character. That's why sometimes I'll have a character who has like a whatever name because they're a throwaway, and I'm like, huh, that's actually really cool. And then you just kind of sometimes you just gotta go with the flow with it. I feel like and you get some of your best writing. And
It happens sometimes, yeah. Sometimes the characters just take on a life of
Man,
their own.
yeah, like I had a character that was like a nothing character in Carnal, and then Narwhal was like, I really like that one character, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put him in it way more. And the funny thing is, Narwhal, that
I know
guy
which one, right? Is it?
essentially has the motive at the beginning. That character ends up being the one with the full arc throughout the whole story. Like he has a need and a want or whatever, and then he goes to it, and then like funnily enough, he's almost going to end up like that mouse character that you have in Earthbound, where you said you have this one character and you gave him he has a really cool arc. Do you know the side character I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
trying to get
I
the
know what
ring.
you're saying. Yeah, you get some little moments in for him or whatever. Cool. He's got his
Yeah,
own
yeah,
little
yeah.
story. Yeah, you know, in Hotel Story, there's a guy named Gary who's an alcoholic piece of shit, and he really like makes me laugh. And I'm curious if people will like him or not. But me and Jared both like he's meant to be the biggest piece of shit ever. He's the biggest loser. He's always drunk. He's embarrassed. He's making fun of himself, or he's making a fool of himself. But we kind of like him, and I'm like, I wonder if the readers are going to like him too. But Jared started doing some Gary lore, so he's like coming up with Gary's childhood and stuff. And I'm like, yes, dude, more.
You're gonna
about
make
Jared.
yourself love him now. You're gonna make yourself love him.
Yeah, he's the worst, and he's just such a lovable piece of shit. He's not even lovable though. That's what makes him lovable. That he's like literally a piece of shit. Nothing redeeming about him at all.
I love characters like that though.
Very irredeemable. They make good. Well, they make good villains. They also, I mean, a book that had a main character like that. You guys have read Cash Grab, right?
Yeah.
I love it. The baby, like Asisa was telling me these ideas for Cash Grab too. It's just like the fact that the character is such an irredeemable piece of shit makes it so. It's genuinely like I was telling him, I was like, dude, it's actually like well written, but like he's such. It's just those characters can be endearing. I'm trying to think of. There's some. Oh, have you guys seen The Big Lebowski?
No one's seen it.
Dude, that one's
Yes,
sorry.
I was being sarcastic. Sorry. Yes, of course I've seen it.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
some people, yeah, no, and some it's good. That movie, it's just like everyone is such a piece of shit in that movie.
Mhm.
It's just so funny. They're varying levels of piece of shit, but they're all pieces of shit.
Speaking of varying levels of pieces of
Oh, here
shit,
we go.
Connell the Barbarian.
Hmm.
If you want to head over to bluedickx.com, you'll find the sign up for my comic, which is a fantasy comedy with this full-on force of nature ADHD character called Connell. He looks like a bit of a dick in this image as he brandishes his weapon, but
Bit of a
he's
dick.
actually he's a
little stuck
nice,
up.
he's a good guy, man. He's a good guy, and you'll find out across the course of the story. But I think we're like 2 signups away from 160. So if there's 2 people in the chat, the big weapon, he have weapon. Connell has what was the like line I thought up? Like a disgraced hero must battle an erotic curse. He has
Perfect.
he has a mysterious special ability which
That
you
nobody
definitely can't-
knows about.
No one knows what it is, but yeah, okay, we're 2 people away from 160. So 2 people
Woo.
signed up right now, then we'd be able to hit 160 on this stream. I think I've pretty much completed now all of the layouts for part 1, and it's like an exactly 50-page book. Like, there's still a little bit of this. I've been getting really good feedback, like good detailed feedback, and it's like the feedback I've been getting isn't you need to completely redo this thing. This doesn't have a setup. Blah blah blah. It's basically almost really finicky. This panel, I don't get what's happening in this panel, and then you have a discussion with the person, and it's like, oh, I just had to put someone's shoulder in the shot, so you knew the angle, like stuff like that. And like maybe in this area you could hint in text that about this thing later. So it's getting really fine-tuned feedback now. You have all the layouts done. I'm so happy with the story. The original script was like a 60-page book, and now it's going to be in 3 parts, and the first part is like 50. So it is, and that's me taking my initial not really knowing writing as well as I do now and realizing, no, I need to set up a bunch of stuff. I need to show this, I need to show that. So
Yeah, I didn't know how specific you wanted me to go with like feedback.
go as specific as you want. You can be
Okay.
as specific as you want. The way I ask for feedback is like, if anything sticks out in your mind, say it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. But anyway, go on.
No, I would like because I was kind of in between things, but I wanted to make sure I shot off a message that gave some. But I could go back if you need anything else.
If you would like to, that would be wonderful. I've had people sit down and go over it with me whilst giving feedback. But yeah, if you sign up in the future, this is some of the layouts. I think this is like one of the layouts I can show. This is what used to be like the second page in the book, and now it's like page 23.
You've done a
So-
lot, or you're gonna. Jake's done like literally 6 or 7 versions of these layouts. Like
This is version 6. It says
He's
V6
been
right
sending it to us. He said this guy's been crazy, but you've been doing so much fine tuning. It's improved a lot. I think it's totally worth it.
Yeah, and I love this. This is like a whole little scene that just gets inserted before this moment, and it's like the setups that happen. I'm so proud of this book. I really am proud of this book. People are telling me it's funny. Chris Rice's comics to stop wasting time. Okay, if you sign up and you do back it, you'll get a special Rini trading card of a little adorable hedgehog. So yeah, thank you. Anyone who wants to sign up, do it. And thank you to everyone who has already signed up. I really appreciate it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
BlueDickAxe.com, everybody. Sign up
Okay,
right
go
now.
to
for Jake's book.
Oh.
And
Nice.
Narwhal, aka
Yeah.
Pear Berg,
Yeah.
tell story.
Pearberg. Yeah, this
Wow.
is my collaboration with Jared Jewell. I'm writing the copy for the Indiegogo now, and I'm like, so I'll read just a sentence of it. What is it? It says, Jared is the artist on this book with some editing assistance from Narwhal. Narwhal met Jared 12 years ago in Iowa City at an animation game dev student organization on campus. Jared organized a comic jam within the club, and Narwhal noticed his iconic style even then. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, he's a great artist, real original, fun cartooning style. We've been working together behind the scenes for years here and there, but this is our big debut, huge project, 300-page graphic novel, co-written by the two of us, and then drawn by Jared. And this launches not this Sunday, but next Sunday, so like 10 days or so. So yeah, mark your calendars on that to be ready to back day one if possible. It's going to be another, like, we're kind of back to the big Narwhal books, like a big release. I want this to be available for at least 4 months. I want everyone to have a chance to get it. It's possibly my favorite book that I've worked on so far.
Ooh,
This or Earthbound 3, maybe.
Wait, how many pages you say?
300. The first one's
300.
124. Yeah. So this one,
I was looking forward to Cerberus, but I'm looking forward to this even more than I was looking forward to Cerberus back then. Like, I want to know, I want to see, because there's like magic going on. I want to see what like rules and systems you end up exploring with this.
There's a lot
like,
of fun stuff that it's the influences are interesting too. It's influenced by 3 particular movies, but Evil Dead 2, Dead Alive, which is a Peter Jackson gore fest, and Demons 2, which is an Italian horror movie from the early 90s, directed by Lucio Fulci's son. And that movie takes place all in an apartment complex where demons get loose, and the people in the apartment complex, you're following like 20 people at first. People are kind of dying like flies. Eventually there's like a group of people that kind of manage to survive through the initial chaos. And then it's like, how do they get out? How do they survive? That's very much how this is structured. But then within that, there's a lot of fun, a lot of gore, a lot of like, not exactly jokes, but like cleverness with the gore. They call that gags in horror movies.
Clever gore. I'm
Mhm.
interested in that. I want to see how you do that.
Yeah.
I like that term.
Yeah. Clever gore.
Do I have to watch
Creative mutilation
Demons?
is always good.
Creative
Yep.
mutilation. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
There's very creative mutilation throughout the whole story.
Sounds like my kind of
Nice.
thing.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And another interesting thing is because it's 2 of us, we had 2 minds working on it, which is nice. But it's kind of like the extra love and care comes through that, like with Earthbound, I didn't actually do a character design phase. I kind of just like, almost because that was my first comic and I was just too intimidated. And I knew I just had to start or else I'd never even start. So I just started kind of, and I'm like, that's what the Spaceman looks like. I don't care. I got to focus on other shit. But this one, we're like, what's his personality? What it should reflect what he looks like. And we did that for every character. And then we wrote them. It ended up making them all speak differently. So they all are hilarious. Like, and and funny, and like it's there's a lot of things I'm kind of proud about it. But yeah, that's probably the end of the pitch though. So just sign up. If you sign up, you get the free mini comic, which is a nice little bonus too.
Did that process mean you have a lot of like material that shows the development of it?
Yeah, and we're gonna offer a making of book, and it's gonna be
Yes.
sweet. Yeah.
Yes. That's what I wanted.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know what else even actually, because so I went through and grabbed all the emails, and they're fascinating. I think that it will be fun to share because the whole book was written through kind of like some of the Narzac stuff, but it's just a little different. But yeah, written through emails and meetings with a ton of notes. And their story was originally called Hotel Gag Story because it was meant to have as many of these gore gags as we could fit in, and then eventually we ended up calling it just Hotel Story. And the characters, before they got named, they had funny names. Like there's a guy named Bruno, and he's kind of the mysterious one who's like, he owns a gun and you don't know why and stuff like that. But we called him the Accelerationist throughout the entire script, and that ended up like
Wow.
really like affecting his character and his character design as well.
You gave people test names of their role in the story.
Yeah, and you do that. I do that a fair amount, but this time in particular, it worked out nice, and it was kind of like fun to pick, not exactly like cliche words for what they were or whatever.
Yeah, I think I do that sometimes too. It's like there'll be a character, and I know I need this townsfolk to be right here, and I'll just be like old guy 1, old guy 2, and then you get tired of writing old guy.
Yeah,
then
and you have to
give
come up
them
with
a
names.
name.
Random
I've done that
Slut
with-
7.
Yeah,
I did that with the Western. I was like tired of it, and I just started giving them thugs. And even a Dark Cloud in an earlier draft, I was going to have all the members of the squad. I literally have a list. I might still do it, but one of them I named Puff. They were all going to be Cloud related. It's like Puff, Cumulus, Stratus. They were all the random thugs, and even if you don't see it, I was just going to name them stuff like that.
Do you know, I've done
Too.
I've done a similar thing, but it's like not with giving them names, but I purposefully wanted to design all of the, like, you would consider all of the blocks, which are like the invading force, like you would consider them like generic enemies. Like, oh, I won't design them. I'll just put some blocks and I'll design them on the page. I purposefully wanted to design like a set of all of these blocks and try and make them. I know you don't want to design every character like it's a main character because then everyone kind of ends up looking distracting. But I found a sweet spot of like trying to make them feel like they all have their own personality. So these are like all of the blocks that I guess are all going to die across the course of the story. But yeah, I've been doing like, I haven't given them names, but like I did a similar thing to like all of the lady blocks, and they got, you know, body drawings since these just got heads, and there's a smaller amount of the lady blocks. But yeah, I've been doing a similar thing. Like I can look at these guys and think how they'd behave basically. And funnily enough, when I've been, even though they don't really have a specific name or like a role or a personality, if I'd already drawn like this guy and where is it? Like this guy into the story and this guy, I couldn't replace them with any of the other ones in the scenes they were in without it feeling weird. I don't know if that ever happens to you with like fodder guys. They're not really fodder, but yeah, like they just feel unique to me. And even though I don't have like a written down personality like ANFJs, all their personality charted out, but like I just feel their personalities through drawing them.
I do something similar, but it's like way less finished than you. Honestly, this is like you do finished sketch card. That's what my sketchbook is. A lot of it is just like chicken scratch doodles.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's like someone could. I don't know if I would ever sell these because I love them so much now. But it's essentially like a piecemeal version of your sketchbook where they could go up on a campaign, but like I don't know if I'd ever want to sell these now. These are the first drawings of these characters. If I ever do sell them, these are the first actual proper drawings of every single one of these characters.
Wow.
So
Yeah, hold on to it. And when Carnal's like super duper popular and big, you'll sell them for $1 million.
that would be crazy.
We'll get there. All right, Hotel Story. Everybody sign up. It launches in a week, next weekend. So it'll be looking forward to that. And last but not least, if I can find the fucking tab that
I could put it.
I got it.
Living Legends. So this is my dream project I've had since I was in like second grade. So Living Legends is set 20 years after World War III and follows a teenage boy who is the son of a World War III veteran, grew up idolizing the heroes that fought in the war. And after his father's murder, he one day is spelunking in search of a hint of one of the heroes that fought in the war. And he ends up finding this mysterious crystal, and he gets superpowers, and it's like his wildest dreams come through. And instead of listening to his friends and all the people advising him, he just acts on his ideals and rushes into action and tries to get involved in an incident at a nuclear power plant, but finds himself way in over his head. And so you're going to see kind of the past and the present combined. This is going to be part one of like an origin story that I want to tell. He's eventually going to join a team of superheroes and get trained by a veteran who fought in World War III. And I really wanted to kind of bring everything I love into comics and just have an idea farm. And this, by the way, the trading card, I'll announce it here, is going to be drawn by Jules. I don't know if you guys know Juju.
Juju!
You know, a lot. And so definitely check that out and do the sign up. I'm talking to some colorists now. It's going to be 64 pages. And I want to make this an ongoing series for a very long time. It's going to turn into a team book. And yeah, sign up. I already have the whole first story arc written. It's the first 8 issues I've written. So
fantastic. And I have just read
How long is each issue?
the first book.
yeah, Rini did. She gave some great feedback. And if there's anything else you ever think of, let me know too.
Okay.
No matter how brutally I could take it. You know, clearly I could take criticism as we're now seeing live on air.
I think I gave all the criticism I thought of. I tried to be pretty thorough. I genuinely, I really thought the name was true.
I did.
No,
I
that
have
was
met
all-
intended to read it, but I have been for some reason so busy. I'm never
Dude,
usually as busy
don't worry,
as I
I've been
am.
too.
Really weird.
Well, I spent yeah. I wonder what I've been busy on. But no, even before that,
Oh.
when I was doing the layouts for my book, I like stared at a light box for like an entire week, and my eyes actually hurt from
Oh
not
my
good.
god, that sucks. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's I make fun of you for the name thing, but the characterization was really great. I think that stood out. Like I got a good feel for who all the characters were. I'm looking forward to this book. So everybody sign up.
Yes,
Vaughn's working really hard on this. I think you guys are gonna
Oh,
love
yeah.
this book.
I put more time into my characters are my favorite thing. That and then dialogue flows easy for me. I mean, there were parts whenever I find something, I think dialogue, if it's ever clunky, is when it's a bad sign. But like
You don't
whenever
want
it's
too
not,
much of it.
yeah, that's the thing. I could write. I've done that. Like even in film screenplays, where I've written like 10 pages of dialogue. I'm like, hey, none of this advances the plot. It's all entertaining.
Yeah, dialogue is always to create an action. Like
Well,
they're trying to make something happen.
Yeah, I love,
by
but I just
talking.
love making my characters bounce off of each other. It's easy when the characterizations are solid. And that's another thing as an artist, I'm wondering if I write too much dialogue or not. I think some pages, yes, some not.
I thought it was okay. I
Okay.
didn't notice it was too
Oh.
bad. I can go over it again and check though.
Yeah,
that's
just
why I
don't drive
said
yourself
let-
crazy
Hey,
though.
Vaughn, you know what you could do, but it's a little too meta. So it might not fit with the book, but Hype Wizard would like it. Is if in your guy's name it comes up, people's like, "So what's your name?" He's like, "I haven't thought of one yet."
Well, that was the original idea, and then Phil gave me the confidence to commit to Lord Lightning, and what a fucking
Wait, was he
mistake that was.
fucking with you?
No, Phil, Bobby, Biggins, Chad Townsend, Ghost House all looked at me and
No.
said, "Lord Lightning, dude, that's an awesome name." You
Were
should stick
they
with it."
drunk?
And they were they yeah,
That's
like were
not
they drunk and
relevant
high?
to the-
That means they
So
were.
They
No,
were
but,
drunk.
no, but then
Okay.
even you want me to pull up a DM for? Let me pull up Phil's DM.
No,
No,
don't-
don't pull up
reaffirm
DMs.
that.
I
Don't pull
believe
up
No,
you.
DMs.
not on stream.
Were
It's
they
fucking
elbowing
sending
each
me
other?
DMs. No, Phil
they
said
elbowing
to
each-
me, he said something along the lines of, "Yeah, you should commit to Lord Lightning. It's a good
Yeah.
name." Hang on, let
Oh
me
my
find
God.
it.
Oh my god.
Lord
Okay.
Lightning.
Well, no.
He goes,
It's-
Yeah, he goes, I really dig Lord Lightning. Good name. That was Phil Diaz said that.
There's no way they were
He's
sober.
taken out the competition with some
Fuck
other
Yeah,
patterns.
oh my God, that's
that motherfucker.
4D chess.
That's like some
I
Arnold
still don't.
Schwarzenegger
All
shit.
right, man, dude. Do you know how many lightning names were taken? And I'm not going with
Kid
white
Volt.
lightning. I don't care if there's no other lightning names. I will never fucking go with. What was the other one? Flying V, which makes literally no sense.
What,
He doesn't
what the
fly.
fuck does that
No.
mean?
Nor is
Lightning
there. There's a
Boy.
character who can fly. and has a
Lemon
female
Lad.
name.
Lemon Lad.
What
No,
is
just
this?
what you
call him,
Lemons. That has
Lemon
literally
Lad because
nothing
he's
to do with his
yellow.
power set.
call him the Shocker.
Also,
The
what I
Street.
found like names like Boy and stuff like that is when the character grows up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there
Well,
is
you
one
have
character.
like fucking Nightwing and shit. They're like 20 something. They're still
Vaughn,
boys.
if you
But
have,
he's not
if you
called
have a
Light Boy.
character, if you have
Yeah.
a superhero character that has like a lame boy name, and then like they grow up and they have to change their name, literally, you can use the story of them having to change their name as them having to like
No, yeah, I will.
consider their identity as they grow and mature as a human. Like you can use that as a metaphorical parallel.
Well, I'm doing
Not saying
that.
you can do whatever you want, but
Again, originally he wasn't gonna have a superhero name in issue 1. I may have to go back to that now, but he wasn't gonna have a costume either because I don't think he's earned it yet. Is part of the arc I'm having him go through. Like
I
he's
think
gonna.
that's. Yeah,
Which
that's
is-
what I'm saying. Lord does feel like it should be earned.
I also felt that Lord Lightning, because one of the things was going to be that like the media is often dragging him, and so Lord Lightning, it's like, oh, he strikes again. It's like that sounds villainous if in a different context.
yeah, Lord sounds like a
Ah.
villain name to me, and also it's like if
That was-
if
In
so,
the
so if a kid said I'm Lord Lightning, and I'm like, what's your friend's name? Sephiroth? Like,
Yeah,
Dude,
if in
speaking
the
of
real
which-
world, you can if you had him call himself that, it would only be believable for other people to react with mockery. They're like everybody else goes along with it by being like, "Here's a Lord Lightning again. Look at him acting
Yeah.
all." You know
Vaughn,
what I
if
mean?
you got superpowers and you called yourself Lord Lightning,
Fuck you.
No, it's you get the point. Just
No, I get it.
keep
I do. And some of the other names I'm gonna change, but a lot of them I'm gonna keep. There were some even down to like some names for again minor characters that I had for so many drafts, and I was like, okay, at this point, I'm only keeping the name out of attachment. Let's cut it. Like the bully name was a goofy ass name for a long time, and then when it became a more serious character, I was like, why do I still have this fucking throwaway name? This is stupid. But yeah, I mean this is something that I've had for a long time, and I'm barely scratched the surface of my ideas. I can't wait to introduce the team. Someone asked about the lengths of the issues. So issue 1 was kind of like at 1.3 issues that I recombined together. So most of the issues, my plan is to do this one as a giant size issue, and then have 24 to 28 page issues packaged. So like the next campaign, ideally would be issues 2 and 3. So it'd be 2 different covers. That way you'd have 2 different comics, 2 different $10 comics is my idea. Or I'm figuring it out, but it would be like 2 and 3 because I like the quick chapter kind of before bed. So it'd be like issues 2 and 3 in one campaign, then 4 and 5, then 6 and 7, and then 8 would be a double-sized issue. That's my idea.
Cool. You got a plan.
nice.
Everyone
Yeah,
sign
that's
up for
so
Living
good to
Legends.
So yeah, thanks.
All right. Well, that was a good show.
Yeah, I was really.
Or I
good.
hope it was. I mean, I
Can
was
I share
like
something?
alternating
Can I share something
between
super quick?
drunk and tired and overcaffeinated. Sure. What is it?
Can I promote one other thing super
No.
quick? I know this is
Fine.
not really couth that we do. Sorry,
Uh,
sorry. Just super
geez.
quick. Just literally, just also. I backed this
Oh.
yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Perfect 10 issue 4 is out. It's only been a day, and he's like getting towards fulfilling the goal. He's like over halfway. The book looks fantastic. I just absolutely love Powell Rodrick's art.
Mhm.
And I even got the where is it? I got the commission tier, and it's like you get all the covers for the campaign that are signed, and you can get your own commission from like that looks this artist that does this wonderful stuff, man. Like it looks. Where's the commission thing? There we go. Which is like fully inked 7x11. I just wanted to shout it out at the end. You should go check it out. The stories, the story seems great. It's all professionally put together. like it's just quality. The book is just quality, and I think there's only one more issue to go after this, so it's like a concise story. Go check it out. Just wanted to shout it out.
Yeah, I
Alright.
read issues 1 through 3 on the airplane. I thought they were really well written too. Like genuinely.
The story flows really well. The paneling is professional. Like there's you wouldn't read this and be like, you read it and it like everything flows wonderfully. The characters are very excitingly designed.
Oh yeah, the art is amazing. It's so memorable. Really, really great art. I totally backed this and I haven't read it yet because I don't have time to read anything. But I got it for the art. So I love the art.
I love this.
check this out.
I love the tall hip.
Yes.
I love it so much.
That is such a good design.
And I think you can even buy the art for that right here. There's like a couple of this original cover went for cover A. This wonderful cover is still available, and you can get there's 8 commissions left. So he sold 2 on launch day. So yeah, check it out.
Awesome. All right, everyone, check out Perfect 10. It's on Indiegogo. Do it. And Timothy Fitzgerald. This is, I guess. Did I hear say we're launching one for on your channel on Saturday? Yes. One more time for anybody who missed it. I am launching Fiendish 2.5 on my channel on Saturday. The launch it should be going live at 11 a.m. Eastern. I'll start streaming shortly before that, but not only will it be a launch stream, I'll be doing an auction. So I have a couple of original art pieces I'm working on. There's this one that everybody really seems to like, and I'm very happy because I was happy with it. And then I have this one, and I'll try to do a third one if I have time. I'm already running on no sleep, but I'll do my best. And so I'm going to be auctioning these off, and the campaign will be going live on Fund My Comic. The sign-up page is on fiendishcomic.com. I have that link in the description. You can sign up for the regular sign-up or the 2.5 page. I have some more information there anyways. But the campaign will be going live Saturday, and there's a 24-hour cover of grayscale, well, black and white, grayscale, whatever, same thing. 24-hour cover that you can only get the first day on its own. So you don't want to miss it, and be there or be square. Yay. I'm excited. Okay, all right. I think I promoted this to hell and back. So thank you guys so much. This was a great show. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks, Vaughn,
Thank you.
for filling in for
Of course.
Phil. You filled in for Phil.
Anytime.
You filled in.
You filled in for Phil.
You filled in DS.
That came out really, really wrong. Okay. All right. What else to have to promote?
Came out exactly as intended.
There will be, moving right past that. I guess that's a fitting end for the show. Tomorrow will be the Ali and Rini show. It should be on Ali's channel, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm tired. And then again, Saturday is the launch. And anybody else have any other streams this week? Oh, Sunday I'm going to be on Vaughn's channel. That's right.
And then it's up to you if you want, but we have my group show, Hard Chargers. We'd love to have you on if you're interested in that at the night.
I will if I'm awake.
Shut the fuck up, Jake. You weren't invited. God. All right. Anyway.
Don't pretend you don't send me the link every time.
This time my finger might hesitate. You know what I mean?
For a split second, then.
Okay, all right. So Sunday I'll be on Vaughn's channel, and maybe we'll see Jake there as well. All right, thank you guys again. This was an awesome show. I appreciate everybody who was here, and we'll see you all next Creative Block. Bye-bye.
Bye.
On Novel's channel. On Novel's channel.
On Novel's
next
channel.
time.
That's right. Novel's channel. What subject?
Oh. What's up, what? Oh, I don't know. Well, yeah. But I'll talk to you guys behind the scenes. I'm not sure yet. We'll
figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Let me pick something off my shelf.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.